The following is a presentation of iRacing.com motorsport simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Pocono Speedway here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It's LSRTV's continuing coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. And we're live tonight on iRacing Live. Welcome everyone to this great 2.5 mile speedway, 200 miles set to go the distance here, 80 laps scheduled distance for these drivers here tonight, and a huge field set to get underway for race number 2 of segment number 2 here. 41 drivers have entered themselves into this race here tonight, and we're closing in on the end of qualifying. Just about 3 minutes left to go on this one. 23 cars so far have taken their turn at their 2-lap qualifying session. A few more, I'm sure, out there still on the racetrack getting set to get this done. And of course, this is race number 2, so our standings so far in segment number 2 that are the same as the results that we had last week, 1 week ago at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for that big 300-mile race, 200 laps. It was a fantastic race there as well. Great job. Ray Alfalla picking up his 6th win on the season. Did it in a pretty good fashion as well, leading 63 of those 200 laps they had there last week. Chuck Sweeting, how about him? First race in the ASCORS ProGeek Cup Series, and he comes home with a 2nd place finish. Trey Edson finished 3rd. Landon Harrison came in the 4th spot. Taylor Hurst rounded out your top 5 with other drivers. John Gorlinski, J.D. Laird, Matthew Chafe, Seth the Merchant, and Matthew Quick rounding out the top 10 from Charlotte 1 week ago. Right now, currently, with only a couple minutes left to go in the qualifying session, Ryan Luza sits top of the board right now in that 0-2 machine. We'll see if anyone can top him off in the next couple of minutes. But with that said, let's send it down trackside now for opening ceremonies. It's Jaden Berkey with tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag
We'd like to thank Jaden Berkey for that rendition of the national anthem, and of course the Thunderbirds, the virtual Thunderbirds, for that flyover as well. We get set to get race number 2 of the second segment underway, and with the second segment also means all these drivers are battling for the opportunity to race in the chase come segment number 3. The wins, they're all that important. Ray Alfala, 6 wins now so far in the season, has himself securely locked into the championship, as well as winning the Segment 1 championship just a couple weeks ago. Here at Pocono, though, the field getting set to get on the grid, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the broadcast booth. Myself, Andy Kessler, joined with Cisco Scaramuza, and hopefully in a moment or two we'll have Evan Basoko as well up here in the booth. But for now, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup, and he did hang on to the pole for those last couple of minutes there. Ryan Luza in the 0-2 will start from that top spot, 54.577. The time he put up there, 2 100s. Better than that of Matt Busa in the 34. He will start on the outside of row number 1. Taylor Hurst will roll off in the 3rd spot, while Derek Bordeaux will start 4th. 5th goes to Ray Alfala.
And then starting 6th going to be Santiago Tires. Another great start for that 6 machine. He's starting 6th right behind them. 7th and 8th, it's going to be Michael Connie and Mark Jorgensen Jr. And then row 5, it's going to be the 03 of Dylan Jones, and Tyler Hudson will round out your top 10.
11th will be the 9 of Austin Jones. Adam Benefield in the 83 will start 12th. 13th goes to Mitchell Hunt. Landon Harrison in the 70 machine will go off in 14th spot. And 15th will be the 28 of Doy Woods.
Joseph Gulota is going to roll off 16th. Alex Bergeron, great start for him, going to roll off 17th. 18th going to go to Bentley Glazer. 19th is going to go to the 20 of Chad Coleman. And Joshua Campbell will roll off 20th.
21st to last week's second place finisher, the 26 of Chuck Sweeting. David Ankeny in the 30 car will start 22nd. 23rd goes to Tyler Dalton. Jason Miller will start 24th. And 25th goes to the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke.
Bradley Havard is going to roll off 26. 27th is going to go to 64 of Michael Priester. 28th is going to go to the 08 of Jonathan Goke. 29th is going to go to Matthew Moose. And 30th is going to go to the 21 of John Gorlinski.
Greg Spears, all of these guys mentioned here, did not take a qualifying time. Greg Spears in the 90 will start 31st. 32nd goes to Ray Rittenauer. Paul Cooper will start 33rd. 34th to Samuel Roush. And Matt Quick will start 35th.
Josh Parker going to start way in the back, 36 for the 18 machine. 37th is going to go to the 91 of Daniel E. Eberhardt. Brandon Hastings is going to roll off 38th. 39th going to go to the Lions Club International Chevrolet of Paul Fugate. And John Wilco is going to roll off 40th.
And the last car on the grid here tonight, the 98 of Steve Herring, will start dead last in 41st. So a full field here for tonight's event, and we look forward to this one as always, as we always do every single Sunday night as well. But without a cup race this Sunday because of all the rain at Pocono, well, we got sunshine here tonight on the sim, so there's no doubt about it. We'll get all 80 laps in here tonight. 200 miles of scheduled distance. A unique racetrack at that of Pocono, just 3 turns. Kind of an interesting layout, but it's always a lot of fun, and it's all about momentum coming off these corners, and that's what it's all about. If you can't get the center off working in your favor in all 3 corners, it's going to be a long night trying to chase speed down the straightaways.
Absolutely, and I think we saw in the ARCA race, it might come down to fuel strategy, and it came down to fuel strategy in that race, and I think we may have to see who's going to take the gamble and who's going to maybe make the strategy call to win this thing, Andy. But here they come, round turn number 3 as the pace car gets ready to dive to pit road.
Yeah, pace car looking to get to the safety of pit road for the first time tonight, and Michael Luza chooses the outside lane. The green flag flies, and we got ourselves a race here at Pocono, and good start right there on the bottom side for Matt Busa, able to run it side by side now with Michael Luza, or Ryan Michael Luza, I should say, on that top side. They'll run it side by side now into turn number 1. Double file all throughout the field, all the way back throughout all 20 rows that had started here tonight, and a pretty good start for everyone getting through turn number 1. And I can sometimes pose quite a problem, especially with the guys on the bottom side in turn number 1, end up pushing up the racetrack. Turn 2, like you see them going through right now, the tunnel turn they call that, That turn is just a sweeping turn. If you can time it right with your braking, you can really carry a lot of speed heading into turn number 3. And then, of course, turn number 3, very flat racetrack corner. Almost reminds you of a New Hampshire, how flat it is, how long it is, and how patient you have to be to get back on the throttle to get this done here. The 0-2, Ryan Luza, able to jump out now to about 6-7 car lengths now as they run and complete lap number 1. Ray Alfala already making some moves here to get up to that 3rd spot. Just made it around that 74 Taylor Hurst, and that'll make him into the top 3 now. Already on the podium spot. Here comes Michael Conti now looking to get around that 74 as well. The draft comes into play huge here, Cisco, with the speed these guys carry down these straightaways off the corner.
Absolutely, and we're on board right now with Taylor Hurst in that 74 machine, and the one thing to take away from this track, I think, Andy, is just how bumpy it is. You know, this is before the repave, so a lot of bumps, a lot of character, I guess you could say, is built into this track and that concrete surface as it looks like they're going to come through turn 3 right now. I say concrete, it's asphalt, not concrete. It looks a little washed out like it might be concrete, but it is, in fact, asphalt. But how about Ray Alfala trying to go to I don't know, come back, I guess? It's weird to say because, you know, considering he had how many runner-up finishes in a row, finally got the win last week at Charlotte, and now he's looking for 2 in a row. And if history has anything to say about that, it's going to be hard to stop that 2 car tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's already made it known that he's not going to run a full schedule here in segment number 2 of this season, so he's going to be here when he is here. You definitely got to count that to be somebody to be a contender with already this season. 6 wins for Ray Alfala, so getting the job done already. So great job all season long so far, and trying to continue that on as we stretch here at Pocono. Race number 2 of segment 2, and off of turn number 3, here comes the 0-1. Ryan Michael Luza going to lead another lap this time. 3 laps now already complete, but at 34, starting to reel him in.
And Luza did this at Charlotte as well, took a commanding lead, and I think he got hunted down a little bit. I'm blanking on which car that was in that race. It might have been the 74 of Taylor Hurst, but either way, basically he just played into the cards for Ray Alfala. He was able to make the strategy call to win that thing. But Ryan Luza is definitely a force to be reckoned with ever since he's gotten here last week, and has shown just how fast that 02 Chevrolet has been. And right behind him, Matt Busa. Talk about the guy who's basically been taking the fight to Ray Alfala for this whole first season before the influx of new drivers, and Busa able to get at least one triumph over Ray in the season before. But now Busa is going to take it to the 0-2 of Luza and try and make the pass here as they come down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he's got 2 wins on the season. Matt Busa does. Richmond, and then earlier on in the season at Martinsville. So a couple of short tracks getting the job done for that 34 so far this season. But right now, getting them done on the big speedway here. 2.5 miles is the length of distance right now. And looking to make up some pretty good ground over the last couple of laps.
Oh, no, trouble. It looked around the 28 of Doy Woods, and I'm going to look back to see which car that was, but we saw it on the static cam there, and it's going to actually be trouble for the 36 of Bentley Glazer, and from what I saw, a little bit of contact, I believe through turn 1, and that's what's going to bring out our first caution.
Yeah, it looked like contact actually between the 28 of Doy Woods and the 86 of Joseph Gulata there in turn number 1. Those 2 drivers making just a little bit of contact to that rear quarter of the 86. He ends up going around up into the wall hard, and then that sent the 36 as well up into the wall. Other than that, it looks like everybody else able to get around this without any other damage. So everybody else going to be able to get around that. So 2 cars involved. We'll call it 3 cars, but major damage to 2 of them as they both nose it into the wall right there. But trouble for these early on here on lap number 5, and they'll bring us our chance now under caution, and we'll see possibly some pit road stops for some of these guys, but an opportunity with just limited amount of laps on these tires. There might be some guys with a large field like this taking 2 tires, try to get some of that track position they lost with the poor qualifying effort, or with taking a provisional and not qualifying at all either. So we'll see what that will do as they work their way down that Long Pond straightaway into turn number 2, and just a little bit longer here. We'll see these guys come down pit road, but a tough break there early on for that 28 Adoy Woods, making contact with Joseph Gulata. Of course, Bentley Glazer, basically the wrong place at the wrong time for the driver of the 36, who had an absolute phenomenal race or season, to segment 1 to the truck season. Had a great job going into the final race, a great battle with J.D. Laird for that championship, and it was right here at Pocono on Wednesday night. Last Wednesday night that he ran out of fuel under those last couple of laps under caution, and he was 3 spots behind J.D. Laird, and that was the amount of points that was separating those guys, so it was going to come down to tiebreakers, and he ran out of fuel, and he ends up not winning the championship. So congratulations to J.D. Laird. Of course, you saw that all right here on LSRTV with the ASCORS SegPay trucks here. So J.D. Laird picking up the championship for segment number 1, and a couple weeks off for the truck series, and they get back in action as well. So make sure you get onto the website, ASCORSRacing.com, and get signed up for that truck series. That has been a lot of fun to cover over the course of this season. Everybody down pit road into their boxes. Looks like a couple guys deciding to stay out on the racetrack, but for the rest of the field, it looks like 4 tires and fuel, at least for the front runners right now. I don't see anybody else coming through there just as of yet. Maybe a couple there. The 89 of Matt Quick, 44 of Paul Fugate, the 87 of Ray Rittenauer. How about those guys? All taking 2 tires on that stop right there. And that's an interesting call, but I figured there'd be a few of those guys further back in the field that would do that, and they sure enough did, and some guys actually stayed out as well.
Well, they actually rolled through pit road, Andy, so they're going to take the Timmy Hill route there, roll through pit road, and I would assume, I bet all those guys were trying to lead a lap. There's about 5 cars that did not take tires or at least stop in their box. The 19 of Tyler Dalton, I believe, stayed out on the racetrack, and then Paul Cooper in the 29, Matt Quick in the 89, Paul Fugate in the 44, and Ray Rittenauer in the 87. All those guys did not stop or rolled through pit road, so I expect we're going to see a couple of those guys to hit pit road here once we get back around. Tyler Dalton, he's got his lap led. That's all he needs to do. Just needs to come down pit road now, probably get some new tires on that Havoline Chevrolet. But looking right now, Busa's sitting in a pretty good spot, and if one of these guys stays out, obviously he's going to be on the bottom of the racetrack unless the leader takes the outside, which would be definitely weird. But I think Busa's in an excellent position. He's up front right now, which hasn't really been happening for him lately. He's been kind of stuck in the back, but now's his chance. He started up front. He's been up front, and unlike Charlotte, he's going to have a really good chance, I think, here to come home with the victory.
Yeah, definitely showing a lot of speed in these early laps here. Fell back off of the back bumper of Ryan Luza, but then was able to gather back in after a couple of laps and actually chase him down. So very smooth. You got to be very smooth through these corners, and you got to be spot on every single lap. And like I said, it's all about from center off the corner, each and every corner, to get that speed that you need down these long straightaways here at Pocono. So a little bit of strategy going on at the front of the field. Tyler Dalton, Matt Quick still out on the racetrack. I assume these 2 drivers will come down pit road when they get the 1 to go mark. They'll get serviced under their cars, and then that'll relinquish the lead back to that 02 of Ryan Luza. Matt Busa currently right behind him in that second spot, what would be the second spot. And then we see Ray Rittenauer, but I imagine the 87 as well will come down pit road with those other front 2 guys who basically lead a lap, get your bonus point. Every point matters in the championship standings when it all comes down to the end of the segment to crown that champion as well. So our first caution of the night here comes out, and of course that was the 28 of Doy Woods getting into the 86 of Joseph Gulata. Made some contact at turn number 1, sent 2 of those cars up hard into the wall. One of those including was the 36 of Bentley Glazer. So not the night these guys wanted to start with, but it looks like Bentley Glazer, one of those drivers, already pulled it behind the wall. Looks like Santiago Tires, he has put it behind the wall as well, along with the 86 of Joseph Gulata. So a couple guys already down, 38 cars still on the lead lap. Pretty good field here we got for segment 2, race 2, and it's Pocono. One of those racetracks that's you either love it or hate it, and for a lot of guys, it's one of those that it'd probably be one they'd skip, but we got such a huge field here tonight, and it's a great showing for segment 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tyler Dalton actually going to choose to stay out on the racetrack. So, and it looks like he's going to take the outside. So, not really sure what the plan is from the 19 car, but I think, we haven't been out here too long on these tires. I think he's thinking that the tires aren't too bad, and he'll be able to make some speed on that and probably help out his position. He was starting towards the back, actually started. Gotta get the thing up here. He started in the 23rd position. He's running second right now. So I think with the scuffed tires, he's hoping on a quick caution here, Andy, so that he can make some spots up here, and then come back down pit road and hopefully cycle out with everyone else and overall just gain positions.
Yeah, he's definitely probably, I think at this point, just hoping to hang on to it. Maybe squeak out a top 10 out of this if they can run about 5 or 6 laps or so under the green flag and then have another quick caution. That would definitely help out the 19 there to gain some of those spots that he didn't have with that qualifying effort to start him in that 23rd spot here tonight. But the field all jumbled back up 2 by 2 all the way through. 19 rows of drivers still left on the racetrack, still left on the lead lap. Get set to get back underway here at Pocono. Nine laps will be complete. Only 71 left to go here tonight. Quite a long night we got here set to go. But when we get set for this restart, looks like our fellow partner in crime here, Mr. Evan Pasoko, will be just about set to join us as well. So we'll get this underway here. The pace car for turn number 3 will look to the safety of pit road. For time tonight, we get our first restart of the night. The leader, Tyler Dalton, chooses the outside lane. Of course, he's out there on old tires, and the green flag waves, and we're back under racing. I do not expect a lot of speed out of that 19 here early on, especially as we go through turns number 1 and down the back straightaway. You're going to see a lot of these guys really start to gain him up. Actually, the top side starting to check up just a little bit from him being a little bit slower. Some 3 wide action. How about the 01, Tyler Hudson? Looking for a move here. He's moving up, looking for a battle now with the 34, Matt Booster, for that 3rd spot. And how about the 74 of Taylor Hurst as well? Right now shown in the 2nd spot. A pretty good side-by-side battle as they head to turn 2.
Yeah, there's a big cluster of cars. The 74 at Taylor Hurst is kind of leading the whole group, and they're side-by-side right now. The 01 at Tyler Hudson still on the outside of Matt Busa, and Ray Alfala stalking the 34, maybe trying to look to get to the inside of Busa here. Not going to happen in turn 3. Busa's going to lead that inside line, trying to get past Tyler Hudson, and Ray's trying to follow him through, and looks like Busa's going to clear. No, not quite. The 01's going to get the run on the outside, and they're going to be drag race to the line, and Busa barely squeaked out ahead of him. But there's a big wad of cars right now, and now that 4 has also jumped into this battle. So they're going to be going at it here, and Tyler Hudson is doing an amazing job on that outside line, using that, able to actually hold ground on the 34, which he's kind of using the best of that apex line through 1. He's taking away, kind of pinching down Busa so he can't use the full extended turn 1, so he can't get the drive off, and Hudson's doing a great job.
Yeah, turn number 2, though, is the place you don't want to be side by side. It makes it real tough for that guy on the outside to get speed. You see it right there. How about some 3 wide action for that 3rd spot? Ray Alfala going to jump down to the bottom. Of course, turn number 3 is wide enough for 3 wide action, and when you put those 3 drivers' names in it, why not? They knew they're going to be able to get the job done here. Off of the corner, awfully close. There's some contact with the 2 and the 34, and able to somehow to hang on to it, but just behind them. Wow, some amazing driving by those guys. I'll tell you what, geez, that was absolutely phenomenal. The 4 did a great job as well. Derek Bordeaux literally was almost sideways right there off of turn number 3 and able to hang on to it. Loses a couple spots, but man, what some great racing right there by these guys, and all these guys up inside the top 5 doing it. But hey, let's welcome in our lead. Go to the broadcast, Evan. What a great race so far in the opening 12 laps.
Yeah, what a time to hop in. 3 and 4 wide at Pocono. We know the front stretch is always a very wide, and it's a good passing zone because it's so long. But off of that restart down the Long Pond straightaway, it's not as wide, but they were making it work, and that almost got really ugly inside of the top 10 there. But a good job by Bordeaux. You mentioned he was basically headed down pit road, and he did a good job of hanging on it. And that finally breaks up that gaggle of cars that we saw inside the top 5. And now we run single file 1 through 10 as Lewis tries to pull away. He's 3/10 front at lap number.
Yeah, he's done a good job leading this thing right from the get-go here, and obviously the 19 leading some laps. That came out on lap number 5, so he obviously falling back through the field right now. Those tires just not able to hang on to him for the time being, and you knew these guys up front, as hungry as they are and as talented as they are, we're going to get by him awfully quickly. How about 2 guys right now inside, just about inside the top 5 there. Started 10th, Tyler Hudson, all the way up to 3rd already, and Adam Benefield, we know how well he has been racing in segment number 1 and in the trucks, Evan. Just so consistent, and he just finds a way. Doesn't matter where he qualifies. Towards the end of the race, you're going to find him up towards the front.
And quietly following behind him, started 13th up to 7th is Mitchell Hunt as well. The 71 Chevrolet picked up one of those positions that Derek Bordeaux gave up when a 4 got out of shape. But I do think the one at Motorsports Ford might be just a little bit quicker. He did start in the number 4 spot, so he's trying to chase down that 71, and that could be very shortly a battle for the number 7 spot on the racetrack. And you're starting to see these guys kind of break away into groups. You got Luza, you got Hurst, 1-2, within 0.2 of a second of each other. Then they have a second advantage to Hudson, to Busa, the 0-1 to 34, and they were part of that mix-up with 3 and 4 wide coming off of that final turn. And in fact, to the inside, down in turn number 3, Matt Busa, left side tires down to the rumble strip, a really loose quarter, the least amount of banking out of all the turns at Pocono is off of the big bend, and he can't get back to the gas in time. Good challenge, momentum topside, going to keep Hudson in 3rd.
Yeah, it's such a hard corner to get off on the bottom with somebody on your outside. When you can't chase that car up to the wall, makes it so tough, and that car just loves to push up towards the wall, especially when you get onto that throttle. So it makes it real tough to make the pass or complete the pass right there, and we saw the 0-1 able to hang on to it. But I don't count Matt Busa out of this much too long. Started in that 2nd spot in that first run, he actually fell back almost about a second from Ryan Luza, but then was able to gather it back up and actually get right back to his bumper right before that caution came out. So he has done a great job. Definitely a lot of speed, but just right now just basically stuck right behind Tyler Hudson right now in that 0-1. And when you get stuck behind a guy that knows the exact line that you need to run, which is the line you need to run, it makes it awfully tough to get around and make the pass.
Battles going on from top to bottom on the racetrack. Still going at it. Hudson and Matt Busa, the 0-1. He's running his line, which again is the key thing that you talk about there. Inside, wide open, down in turn number 3. Caution, you're going to fly though. Problems behind your leaders up at the front of the field. And it's headed right down at the pit road entrance to number 64, the Baja Blast Chevrolet. Into the inside fence. It's problems for Michael Priester. Yellow back out for the 2nd time at lap number 15.
Yeah, we'll get the replay up on your screen, but it looks like just a little bit of contact maybe with the 08 of Jonathan Goke right there. I think the 64, as the replay is up on your screen, had to get out of the throttle just a bit there, and that slowed him up, and the 08 had nowhere to go, got into the back of him, and kind of a lazy spin, but a hard hit nonetheless for the back end. The front end looks okay, though, on the 64, so I think he'll be able to continue on here tonight, but just a tough break right there. Had to check up coming off the corner, and that spelled trouble. The 08, nowhere to go.
The second caution flag held on the night, and it will erase the gap that the top 2 had pulled away. Loser really wasn't able to enjoy much of the clean air up in front of the field because Taylor Hurst was putting a good fight on him after starting in 3rd. Matt Busa, the driver that started in between those guys, had agreed to start in 2nd. He's just behind in 4th, and Tyler Hudson continues to be one of the biggest movers. Nothing compared to John Gorlinski, who picks up a handful of positions on that 2nd run of the race. He is now gone from 30th to 10th, started back on a provisional, 37th to 14th for Daniel E. Eberhardt, 36th to 18th for Josh Parker. Many drivers taking advantage of these first couple of early caution flags to be able to dig, get a yellow, group everybody back up, and do it again, and we will have a second restart in the opening probably 22 laps or so by the time we do get back to the American Ethanol green flag, but we get in line behind the pace car, pit road to be open as we head down the north straightaway to turn number 3. If they want to get service, they can come in this time.
Well, they all came down that last time after about 4 or 5 laps, so I definitely imagine they'll all be back down this time, 4 tires and fuel. But you mentioned that 21 of John Gorlinski. Of course, he was running the 80 machine in segment number 1, but I really liked the speed I saw out of him in, I would say, the second half of that first segment. It really started to seem like he came alive at that point, and we had some really good finishes as well, but he just showed a lot of speed, and he did it as well in the truck series too. So I really like that, and to see him make this jump up 20 spots already, I'm not surprised at all. As the leaders all head down pit road, and they're all led by Ryan Luza, and I imagine all 4 tires will be getting changed on all these front runners, and a good job so far by all of them here up towards the front of the field. We'll see what they can get done on this time on pit road.
His caution going to bridge us past quarter distance, loses the first one in. He's got to go all the way down to the number 1 pit stall and stops a little bit shy. That's going to cost him some time. He, one of 37 cars still on the lead lap that are in for service. Right side tires going up. They're going to go to the left side as well. And it looks like Matt Busa behind might be able to challenge. Couple of cars on a 2-tire strategy, and 3 cars going to beat him out of the pit lane. Luzo going to fall behind Adam Benefiel. No, they'll give him that spot. At least he will lose the race off of the pit lane to Taylor Hurst. Benefiel, Busa, Bordeaux, and Hudson behind. 3 wide, 4 wide on track handy, and 3 wide and 4 wide coming off of the pit lane. In front of these guys, though, is where you saw a couple of people come out of the pit lane. Ray Rittenauer the second, and Paul Nicholas Cooper, the number 29 Toyota. Technically the first driver off of pit road. However, he did not come in to take service.
Yeah, we saw this a couple other times, guys driving through. Ray Rittenauer actually did that the first go-around as well. Just drive through, take that ability to come down that with 1 to go and get service done at that point. So just a little bit of strategy playing on with some of these guys here early on, but a great job on pit road. I love pit road at this place because how wide it is, and you can come off this place 5 wide if you really had to, and it makes for some fun battles. It takes a little bit to sort everything out once they get back up onto the speedway, but pit road at Pocono is definitely one of the most fun places to see these guys drag race it off after getting service.
And every single time they come down, at least for the majority of your leaders, they're taking 4 tires also. If you get a late race restart, you might see some tire strategy, but you take in the fact that it is a long front straightaway. You take in the fact that it's nice and wide. They can get creative, if you will. And the fact that they're going to have 4 tires most every single time when they head down those 3,740 feet from turn 3 to turn number 1. You can guarantee yourself that all the restarts are going to be very entertaining. First one, good, impressive opening 3 laps, and a little bit of a heart-stopping, I think, opening 3 laps off of that second restart. But for sure, that's only going to get more and more intense as the nights go on. The 87 still in front, expecting him to probably come down pit road when we take the 1 to go. To the race lead after starting third. He was the one chasing the O2 before. The O2 going to be in that Predator position this time to the outside of row 1 P2, but again right now scored in second and third because Rittenauer from 32nd on the qualifying board is up front taking the bonus points for leading the laps.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned it before. Every single point matters in this series. You guys going for the championship for the segment as well as fighting for that championship for the overall championship at the end of the season. So every single point matters for all these guys. And, of course, when Ray Rittenauer comes down to 74, Taylor Hurst will get his lap led as well. So it's going to be fun to see. How about the 83 of Adam Benefiel? We talked about him during that green flag run there, that how well he is or how good he is at. Doesn't matter where he starts, but over the course of the race, you'll just see him picking off a couple here, a couple there, a couple there. How about pit road right there, picking up a couple more spots as well, gets himself now into the top 5. So we'll see what that 83 machine can do on this restart as well.
We take an eye at the base car, and with the 87 ducking down, that will lead us to believe that the lights on top of that American Childhood Cancer Organization, Ford Mustang GT, going to go out this time by. And they do. So we're going to take the restart with 20 down and 60 laps to go. We are quarter distance at the Pocono 200 from the Pocono Raceway. So Hurst loser, row number 1. Benefiel Busa back row 2, 3rd and 4th with Eric Bordeaux. Rounding out your top 5 notable names behind still Tyler Hudson, Mitchell Hunt, John Grulinski, Alex Bergeron, and Michael Conti. Going to round out your top 10 as they run. 41 cars started this one, 37 still sit on the lead lap. one lap down in the lucky dog spot for the next yellow. Matt Quick at the moment. And in 39th, 40th, and 41st, Bentley Glazer, Joseph Galota. Those two drivers are officially out of this race. And Santiago Tierra back at 41st and dead last on the leaderboard right now. Not out of this race yet, but on pit road, continuing to get some repairs after a slow start to his venture tonight. For 80 laps total on the evening, we are doubled up and we're getting set to go back at it. Let's see how many cars we can stack wide on the front stretch this time.
Yeah, it should be a fun restart right here, too. Although this time everybody has all 4 fresh tires for all these drivers. But I'm looking at all these guys up here now that the 21 of Gorlinski, how about that? A couple spots for him on pit road as well, too. So he's just been getting the job done. And we'll see if he can close this one out here tonight with a strong finish, get himself in there with a top 5 maybe here before this thing's all said and done. But you look at all those names up at the front of that field, the top 10, you got some pretty powerhouse names when you talk about the world of virtual sim racing here on iRacing. Those are the guys you're going to see every single or every other week, I should say, on the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series. So a lot of fun to see them all here in the fixed setup series of the ASCORS.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, the tracks line up quite well for them. That give them an opportunity to get a little bit of warm-up in. You got to warm those tires up if you want to be able to be competitive on this one. Pace car down, green flag back in the air at a drag race for P1 and 2, 3 wide behind. Here comes John Gorlinski. He'll split the gap and discard the Owen Hudson to a third lane topside, and he's not done. Turn number 1 they go. Battle for the race lead. Loser trying to get it back on the outside.
Wow, the forced move there for Gorlinski, leaving that 0-1 to Tyler Hudson to fend for himself on the outside. It's going to jumble things up quite a bit right there. The battle for the lead, though, not going to be much there. Luza's going to take it over down the long pond straightaway into turn number 1. And this is where, or turn number 2, I should say. This is where you got to settle things out. You really want to run single file through that corner. It makes it tough the first couple of laps. Gorlinski looking for more now as he looks to the inside of the 4 machine. That's Derek Bordeaux, and that is for the 5th spot.
Bordeaux trying to get in a safe position after he was behind the 30 wide. Thought he was fairly good. They got out of shape and nearly wrecked himself just trying to get around it. So he wants nothing to do with the side-by-side battle that he's a part of right now with the 21 of Gorlinski to the inside, nor the 5 behind. Mitchell Hunt and as well Michael Conti doing a battle. The number 5 Peak Chevrolet going to win that fight, so you can give him back the number 7 spot. But Gorlinski not giving up on the inside. The 4 real tight up against the fence at a turn number 1 and down the long pond straight once again. Do they dare go too wide to the tunnel turn? Gorlinski get a back out of it. No, he'll drive it back in center, and they stay door to door. Incredible battle for P5.
Yeah, it is a great battle right there. Michael Conti now going to look to make it 3 wide as they go into turn number 3. He'll go all the way to the bottom. We know the bottom side's real tough to get the job done. Gorlinski able to get around the 4 of Bordeaux. Here comes Michael Conti now looking for 5th off of turn 3.
He went 3 wide down to the big bend. Only 6 degrees of banking down in that 3rd turn on a racetrack. It's really loose on the inside. And it worked out because he got 1 spot out of it. He's able to put Derek Bordeaux back to 7th. Wasn't able to snag that 2nd on Gorlinski. He ducked in line on the front stretch now at a turn number 1. Thought about digging back to the bottom. He'll jump in line though, grab some draft, and try it again at a couple turns.
3 wide action going on with the 2 and the 0-3. How about Ray Alfala trying to get around a couple more spots? Kind of a bad pit stop for him that last go-around. He dropped a bunch of spots there. Made it 3 wide with the 91 of Daniel Eberhardt as well, but he's going to prevail on that one. Get 2 spots for that number 2 machine of Ray Alfala, and that'll put him up 2 more spots up to 12th now, trying to battle back after that long pit stop.
So that 2 machine back in the pack started P5 back at 14th. He's back with Dylan Jones, we mentioned, who started inside the top 10. He's back there. In fact, only 5 drivers that started top 10 running the top 10 at the moment, with the biggest mover being John Gorlinski, 30th to 5th position, and he was much deeper than a top 5 running spot when we talked about him before the most recent cycle of caution flag pit stops, but he continues the march forward. We do know that number 21 Chevrolet is a good car. 8th best at a practice session. Did not take a time in qualifying, which is why he found himself relegated back to the outside around number 15, but he's on the charge. He sets his sights on Adam Benefield at a battle that could be for P4.
That could be, but he's going to have to. We go on board with the 83 looking back. He's got to deal with the 5, though, of Michael Conti, because Conti's still with a good run down that little short shoot there. Going to try to get something going here on the 21. Use the draft down the front straightaway here. I'm keeping an eye on Ray Alfala as well, making a couple more gains in position as well that last lap. But Gorlinski trying to get up into that top 4, but unfortunately I think he's got to look out his rearview mirror a little bit more right now. Keep an eye on that 5 and where that 5's going. But those guys, all of these guys up front, battling real hard. How about the 74 now dropping down to the bottom? Maybe lost a little momentum there. Taylor Hurst is going to allow Adam Benefield now to get back into the tunnel turn. But how about the race for the lead as well, too, Evan? There's action all over this place here. Matt Busa, he's catching Ryan Luza.
And they are once again pulling away. This time, as you mentioned, though, Matt Busa in a conversation. It was Hurst and Luza last time, and Hurst not giving up, only sitting 0.8 of a second back, but the top 2 once again, the positions to beat as they pull away. Coming out of turn 3 to the inside, here comes Michael Conti. Started 7th, he wants to go up a second spot, and he'll go to the inside and knock John Gorlinski for the first time, maybe backwards the position on the evening. The 21 going to drop from P5 to P6, and now Conti in the top 5.
Conti now in the top 5. We know where he's going to be a player when this thing's all said and done as well, too. Just one of those drivers that anywhere you go, you got to keep your eyes on him, and he's getting the job done here, cutting his way back through the field as we go on board with him. And you can see him chasing down the 74. Taylor Hurst now trying to get a run on him, and he's got a pretty good run there off of that second corner there. Just not going to do anything with it this time into turn number 3, but you got to watch that 5 car maybe on this front straightaway to get a run and make up another spot as well. How about Ray Alfala? Keeping an eye on him as well. He's getting up to that back bumper of Mitchell Hunt, and he has made his way finally back into the top 10 as Gorlinski now looks like he's going to lose another spot. Here comes the 4, Derek Bordeaux.
And he's got a fellow One Up Motorsports car on the move as well. Inside the top 10, second time in a row. The 21 going to fall back this time to the hands of Bordeaux. He makes that move on the inside, and he gets P6 away. Gorlinski now falling to 7th. And in front of them, Michael Conti still on the charge. How about a little bit of bump drafting at 185 miles an hour? 190 by the time they get down to the tunnel turn. Back it off and go down to that inside. The 5 is digging. What a push from Conti. He'll swing to the inside and side by side for 4th. The Peak Chevrolet not going to give this one up without a fight, and he'll get it in the entry to the quarter. Could he hang on to it off, though, as the 74 topside going to be able to get back to the gas a little bit sooner? Doesn't matter. Conti takes another one.
Yeah, he does. That just shows you that turn 2 is probably one of the best places. If you can time it just right and back off just a little bit early, you can actually get such a huge run going into turn number 3. We saw it right there, a perfect glimpse of it with Michael Conti picking up another spot, getting himself up into that top 5 and up to that 4th spot now here. I'm at 34, Matt Busa, he's right there now. Just one car length separating these top 2 as they go back into the tunnel turn. I love this track because you get all these little groups, but they're always racing so hard.
You can take just about any kind of car out to Pocono and have a good time. These Cup cars are extremely competitive. You can take the B cars, you can take the C trucks out there, Indy car, basically anything you want. And you're going to have a good race. Adam Benefield was having a good one. Had a bad couple of turns there, though. He'll fall all the way back behind the 2 of Ray Alfala and apologizes over the radio as he tried to get out of the way. And just like that, from 3rd to what I think is going to be back in P9 by the time he crosses the start-finish line, and it is. So he worked so hard to make up 9 spots on the night. He made up. It falls now 3.6 seconds behind your leaders, which, once again, the top 2 have now really broken away. We saw that trying to hang in there and trying to stay a part of the battle was Taylor Hurst. The 74 has since lost that spot to Michael Conti. The 5 now on a podium position after starting in the number 7 spot. He's picked up 3 positions since we've gone to back green flag racing, and I think most of those spots, if not all, have come inside of the final 5 laps. Each other's trails at a turn number 3, just about a car length separate your leaders.
Yeah, just a car length separate those guys, and everybody else behind still chasing them down at this point. Michael Conti, once he's able to get around that 74 and the 83, he is actually starting to pull away from that rest of that field as well, too, as we see the 4 now of Bordeaux looking to the inside of Hurst, and he'll make that pass rather easily into turn number 1 that time, and that'll move that 74 back another spot there after he had led on the drop of the green flag here on this most recent restart, and now starting to fall back into that 5th spot now, and he's got a couple hungry drivers as well. How about Ray Alfala coming in the picture of this fight as well? He just got around the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson just a moment ago, puts himself into that 7th spot, and with 3 more guys right in front of him, it won't be long. You'll see that too start making him some more moves.
It's all about setting them up and putting them down, and because it is such a large track, there's a lot of draft. These guys, the slowest they get is about 135, and that's down in the back in actually turn number 3 at the Big Bend with only just 6 degrees of bankings compared to the 14 that you see down in turn 1, and I think 11 down in the tunnel turn. That's as slow as they give it. It's a big track, long straightaways, front stretch, and especially the Long Pond straightaway. There's so much draft that when you do get single filed out, it's extremely hard to get away from somebody, and the 0-2, he'll vouch for that because he had all over his bumper before Hurst. He's got right now Matt Busa all over his bumper, but he is up front. He is leading laps as he should. The 0-2 has had a good car all night. Second best in practice, obviously qualified on the front row with the pole position with a 54.577 to put him on that spot, besting everybody else by 2/100ths of a second, which is a fairly large gap when you look at some of the other races qualifying results, and he's doing a good job now. The 34 testing his limits, though, trying to see just how good that Chevrolet will remain on a long run.
Yeah, he definitely is putting the pressure on him now as they're really locked into each other here, going down back into turn number 1 here on lap number 32 as we get closer and closer to that halfway point as well. So these two guys, the draft, I definitely think helping these guys stay with one another right now and allowing themselves, because they're not racing side by side and battling for that position, a 2.2 second lead. Back to Michael Conti in the 4 as well. If Derek Bordeaux has actually come alive here on the late run here too, as these tires have worn out, as he's actually closed the gap on that 5 of Michael Conti. So that 4 car definitely fast on the long run as well.
Battle continues for the race lead. 34 is there. I just keep waiting for him to make the move. We saw Michael Conti not waste a lot of time. He gets to the back bumper, somebody makes the move. Busa, 34 might be a little bit better, or you could say the draft is keeping him there. We really don't know yet. The Gale Force Sid Racing Toyota doing a good job on not letting Luza get any sort of distance, but he hasn't made the move to the inside. He's had a couple of opportunities where he may have been able to force the issue. Hasn't had a really good run coming off at the corner quite yet, but the 34 I think is content with where he runs right now. Michael Conti in 3rd, maybe not for long. Here comes from P4 the 4 of Bordeaux. Big charge coming out of turn 1. Thought about sweeping to the inside of the tunnel turn. A little bit of a late move it would have been. He ducks back in line, gets back to the accelerator coming off of turn 2, and they head down the north straight to the Big Bend with about a half a car length in between them. That fight on for 3rd, going on 2.5 off the top spot.
Yeah, they got to be careful, though. That 2 car is actually closing the gap on them as well, too. So Ray Alfala on the old tires making a charge as well. We've already documented how he was back outside the top 15 on this restart and how he's climbed his way up into the top 5 here. So obviously very fast car for the 2 as well, but I really liked what I'm seeing from that 4. I've been able to catch up to that 5. Michael Conti, exactly not the easiest guy to catch once you've put a gap between yourselves, and that 4 definitely done a great job, and you can see him closing the gap again down this Long Pond straightaway here, another half a car length. It seems like he's much better in turn number 1 than the 5, but the problem is he just runs out of straightaway to make a move to get the pass into turn 2.
And what you're seeing right now in this battle for 3rd is exactly what's going on up front. Look at that, sideways off of the tunnel turn. And Derek Bordeaux, he's going to stick the nose to the inside. The outside could arguably position down low, and Bordeaux going to have to wait one more time. They were both sort of keep the back end of their machines underneath them, and both seesawing at the wheel coming off of the turn, but enough speed gives Conti the run off. He will hang on to third for the moment. Bordeaux still sits back at a number 4 spot, and I'm sure he'll give another go at him. And it is, again, a 2-car battle for P1, a 2-car battle for third. Ray Alfala wants to make it a 3-car fight. Watch out for the Alfala Tech Ford back up to where he started this race at P5 and closing in on both of those cars in front of him.
Yeah, he is, and he's doing it without them racing side by side as well, too. So it's going to be interesting to see, I think, if the two can get some track position and maybe catch up to those front two. We might have a pretty good battle between three cars to go for this race lead before this thing is all said and done before the end of the night. So a lot of time still left to go, over half the race left to go. It looks like about 45 laps this time by as they come to the start-finish line. How about the 21 of John Gorlinski heading to pit road? He'll be the first one of the leaders to head that way. The battle for third, though, here it comes. The 4 now. Bordeaux looking to the inside in turn 1.
And the inside down to turn number 1 is going to get squeezed down, though. Unlike down in 3, you really don't want to be on those grumble strips really early in the turn or really late apexes. The degree of sharpness in turn number 1 increases as you come off of the corner. It's a very lax entry to turn 1, and it gets real tight before you get off of the corner. And he made a good run, got back to the throttle, but the 5 doing an excellent job of pinching him down, didn't let him take that arc that would allow him to get back to the gas pedal, and he has to wait once again. So they go down to turn number 3. Does anybody else from the top 5 come down? Luza, he'll stay high at a 3. So will Matt Busa, Michael Conti, Derek Bordeaux, and Ray Alfala. No more takers in the top 5 this time as we put lap 36 behind us and side by side again in an ever so constant battle for third.
He's going to try a slide job there in turn number 1. Look at him slide way up right in front of Michael Conti. A little sideways there. Now they're going to battle it still side by side. But Michael Conti doing a great heads-up job there. Knew that 4 just really dove it in there. And watch out. Here comes the 2 now. Ray Alfala looking to get in the mix as well. They'll single file it out, though, for turn number 2.
The 4, big run this time, and Conti's going to brush the fence just ever so gently off the corner. The 4 had to run anyhow, and he'll use that as motivation to throw it to the inside. Can't get an advantage, though. He got it nose to nose. You go on board with Ray Alfala. He's got a front row view and almost into the fence as he bobbled, and they will stay door to door in front. 3rd and 4th, not going to give this one up. And meanwhile, P1 and P2, they're not doing all of this exciting stuff. They're equally as close. In fact, they were closer than 3rd and 4th the last time by. But they continue to be in agreement on the running order. In front of the field, these guys are not. Bordeaux sideways, and he couldn't take advantage when Conti got out of control. But Ray Alfala absolutely going to jump on the opportunity when Bordeaux makes a mistake, and just like that, he goes back to 5th, and Ray Alfala now in 4th.
Yeah, what a great move. And the 4 almost hitting the wall there off of turn number 2 and had a pretty good run there going at it. Chooses not to go to the inside of Ray Alfala that time, so they'll single file it out and still continue to battle for those 3 positions right there. And we'll see if Ray Alfala now can catch up to Michael Conti. He's got a little bit of a gap now on him, about 2 car lengths now as they continue down the front straightaway. You got some more cars, the 9 now coming off of pit road. And this is the interesting part about pit road with this racetrack, as you come out and you're actually up to speed, hopefully, by the time these guys get to you in turn number 1. So you can see right there the 9 will start to pull away from these guys with the fresher tires. So I think that's what the 21 of Gorlinski was looking for, the short pit for him, trying to take advantage of the fresh tires. And we'll see how everything plays out once everybody else makes their pit stop. But it'll definitely play some effect in the 21 of Gorlinski will definitely gain some ground on some of these guys.
Yeah, no doubt that Gorlinski pitting was going to be a short pit call. He does find himself back in 29th position, still on the lead lap. But at most tracks, you pit, you're going to lose a lap. Extremely long track. Derek Bordeaux going to be the next driver to come in just shy of the halfway point. The hardcore paints entry is down for service this time. And side by side for now, what is going to be the number 3 spot, I believe, on track, Conti topside. He's been able to hold off the 4 every single time in that very lane, but it looks like Alfala's giving him more trouble.
Yeah, he is. Ray Alfala's just been so tough on the bottom side in turns 1 and 3, and that's the part where you haven't seen anybody else really be, real aggressive there. The 5 going to push him, pinch him way down, and caution will fly here on lap number 40, right at the halfway point of this one. That was awfully close and almost made their own caution right there between those two, but it looks like John Wilco in the 62 going to be the cause of that one right off of turn 3.
Coming off the corner, got up into the fence, came down, nowhere for the 89 of Matthew Quick to go, and he will hook the left rear and spit out John Wilco. His 62 Chevrolet comes into the inside Armco barrier, and a caution flag is out. If he was able to spit all the way to pit road, they might have been able to get away with it. Came to a stop just shy, and that's a wide open part of the racetrack off of turn number 3. So the caution flag does come out. And now for all of those that had just decided to pit, you find yourself in a bad position, because if you can complete your service and everybody else has to pit, you might be able to cycle your way through. I'm not entirely convinced, though, and we saw such a short distance between the drop of the first green flag tonight, the first yellow. Everybody still took tires, so if Gorlinski decides to come in and pit, then he just threw away 20 positions, and so if he stays out, he can get back up front depending on how many cars pit, but then he will be at a disadvantage for this next stint. So we'll have to see what all of those people that have already come down decide to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The 21 of Gorlinski, maybe a 2-tire stop for him, maybe to get some of that track position back, but only time will tell once they make their way down pit road, but we shall see. We know the 4 tires, obviously, the better call for these drivers, but for the guys that did stay out, everybody up here in the top group here, definitely this will be a 4-tire stop for all of them. The 9 mixed up in there right now, showing a lap down, so the 7 as well just came out of pit road for his service right before these guys came, so he'll be able to get back on the lead lap. But road's open, the leaders are heading that way. Luza leading that charge now. Busa to follow. Everybody's starting to jumble right up in there, get awfully close, trying to get as close as they can to make up as much time.
It's a wide pit road, and some of these guys are already too wide as they jump onto the pit lane, because your leader, he'll pace behind the pace car, and then he accelerates and then mashes the brake at the line, tries to get himself a little bit of a gap between he and Busa. Let's see if he can get into the stall. Much better this time for Loser, right on the money. Expect 4 tires and fuel, but the jack goes up on the 34 before him.
Yeah, he did get into his pit stall a lot better. Didn't have to creep up there. It looks like it's going to be a drag race. How about Ray Alfala? What a stop. Beats everyone off of pit road there. What a great job by that 2 crew.
The line is so close also to the pit stall of Ryan Luza that we talk about how much of an advantage it is to have that number 1 pit stall, and it doesn't even matter for Ray Alfala back into pit stall number 5. It looked like Hudson would have given him a shot at it, but again, he had all that speed wound up that if they raced to turn 1, he would have been in front of Luza, but because the line coming much before where that 02 would actually be able to get up to pit road speed of 60 miles an hour. He'll be able to maintain second, but Ray Alfala, he'll have the lead position coming off of pit road, and we wait to see the fate of a couple of the drivers that stay out in front of him. So pit stop's not done to this point under the caution flag. We'll take this opportunity and step away for a caution flag of our own. Back to Pocono Raceway in a moment. You watch the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consultant Cup Series, halfway through the Pocono 200.
Did you know that lions' sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back live to the Pocono Raceway. Caution flag going to be extinguished this time around. And in front of the field, number 21, John Gorlinski. He'll bring us around to 36 laps to go in the Pocono 200, part of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Caution flag at this juncture. First driver off of the pit road was Ray Alfala. Drivers in front of him that had pitted before the caution flag stay out. That includes Bordeaux, who's going to be to the outside of row 1 P2. Daniel Eberhardt takes over third, and Chad Coleman going to go into the number 4 position, and that's where you'll find Alfala, Luza, Hudson, Abusa, P5, 6, 7, 8, and continuing on back. We look for the restart coming out of turn number 3, 44 laps down and 36 to go. Gorlinski, significantly older tires than the drivers back on row number 3, and the restart going to be delayed this time at a turn number 3, so we'll take this opportunity, take a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized sim racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, the IMSA, and more. John Gorlinski, your leader, 45 laps in. Derek Bordeaux to the outside of the front row in P2. Chad Coleman, the number 91 machine, is up in the number 3 spot. You got the 20 of 91 of Everhart, rather, third, and Chad Coleman is actually scored in the 4th position. Ray Alfala is P5. Ryan Luza is 6th. 7th at the moment. Tyler Hudson and Matt Busa fallen to P8. Michael Conti behind in 9th. And you have the 03 of Dylan Jones in 10th.
11th on the grid right now, you have Mark Jorgensen Jr. 12th, Adam Benefield in the 83. Alex Bergeron 13th. 14th goes to Jonathan Goke. Matthew Moose now up to the 15th spot. 16th to Dory Woods. Jason Miller now in the 17th spot. 18th to Bradley Havard. 19th to Greg Spears, and 20th is Landon Harrison.
Just behind there, 21st position, Tyler Dalton, Paul Nicholas Cooper, P22. 23rd for David Ankeny, Austin Jones, 24th. 25th is where you'll find a relegated number 74 of Taylor Hurst. Mitchell Hunt, P26, P27 for Brandon Hastings. Michael Priester in 28th. 29th at the moment is in the hands of the 26 of Chuck Sweden. And rounding out your top 30 is Samuel Roush.
31st, currently, Ray Rittenauer, Joshua Campbell in the 32nd spot. Last car on the lead lap, 33rd, that's Steve Herring. Matt Quick, 1 lap down in 34th. 35th to John Wilco, Josh Parker, E.J. O'Rourke, Paul Fugate, Bentley Glazer, Santiago Tires, and Joseph Galura round out the 41-car field tonight.
That's a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on a wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com and sign up today. Pace car down, second time's the charm. Wing fly back in the air, 3 wide for third. To the inside comes the 2 of Ray Alfala. He's got a push from behind from Tyler Hudson. All of that going on behind. A door-to-door battle for the point, and Bordeaux outside gonna get it.
He's going to get the advantage on the outside lane right now. Gorlinski going to fight back, though. Almost still have a nose in there. They'll separate themselves now. Still 3 wide behind him for that 4th spot. Here comes the O2 of Luza now to the inside. Hudson on the inside. They're going to both beat out the 91 of Eberhardt right there into turn number 2. And you see these guys with the older tires. The 20 of Coleman actually jumbling up the field as well, but you can see these guys with the older tires definitely causing some problems here, but a great job by everybody to hang on to it, to sift their way through it now, and all battle it out now and chase down. Look at Ray Alfala chasing down for the lead now. You got Derek Bordeaux in his sights down the front straightaway.
Uses the draft. He gets to the bumper. Does he duck out at the last second, or does he wait till stay in line for the time being? All of that 3 wide still shows some remnants of it back in the pack a little bit. The 0-1 of Tyler Hudson tried to make a move on the inside of the 0-2 of Ryan Michaelusa. Can't do it that time. You got the 5 of Conti. He makes the pass at 9-1 of Everhart. Matt Busa going to go to the inside. And a problem for Chad Cole. He's in the fence. They wreck behind him.
Yeah, caution out. 20 of Chad Coleman got into the wall there, and that spelled trouble for him right after that, and everybody else being so close how they are on the restart there. That caused a lot of problems there. It looked like the 90 came into him right after he got into the wall there. Actually got hit by the 9. The 9 of Austin Jones came into there and got right into him and hit into him. But unbelievable right there. Some crazy action going on, but the 90 taking the most
Denani really couldn't go anywhere, and he checked up, but unfortunately there was nowhere for that 9 machine to go, and that's where the contact comes, coming out at turn number 1. The caution back out, and Ryan Lusa shares our thoughts that a restart. He came over the radio and said, start P4. But it's all said and done. Gorlinski 3rd, Alfala 2nd, Derek Bordeaux up in the race lead in the number 1 position. Curious to see that 21, how well he's going to be able to do. I don't think we're going to see any pit service for your leaders this time after we made it about 4,500 feet from the green flag. We do know that tires have an importance. We know that people are going to be coming down pit road at almost any given opportunity. Not sure they're going to be coming down after that short of a stint. So the 21 might benefit if we get another short 7-8 lap run to be able to get tires get back on the same pace with everybody else. Again, he pitted before the caution came out, did not lose his lead lap status, so when everybody else came in for service, he stayed out on the racetrack, but a little bit of older Goodyear Eagles have him at a pretty significant, I would say, disadvantage when you're going head-to-head with guys like Bordeaux, Alfala, Lusa, Hudson, Conti, Eberhardt, Busa, Benefiel through the top 9. Pretty big names, and they've been all pretty strong and have been putting up a fight with each other when they're all on equal tires. So to have a disadvantage to them, not the best thing that the 21 Chevrolet could be dealing with at the moment. Again, he started back in 30th and Ryan's in 3rd right now. Not the end of the road for him, but he's going to have to carefully manage this stint.
It definitely is, and I see some of the leaders. Actually, look at them coming down pit road. Ray Alfala coming down as well. Everybody, except the 0-2 of Luza, is going to stay out on the racetrack. A couple other drivers look like they will too, but Ray Alfala, kind of a surprise to see him coming down pit road, but he will lead the charge, and everybody else right behind him.
And that was a last-second decision. The 4 of Bordeaux made a last-second dive. The other guys thought about it. Again, the leader can be a bad spot where if you pit, everybody else behind you could stay out, and you could end up back 10 rows deep, or you stay out, everybody else pits. But he comes in and takes 4 tires out and away, and some 2 tire service for the drivers that beat him off in the pit lane, and Conti and Gorlinski.
Yeah, the 21 getting 2 tires on that one. I kind of figured you'd see the 5 maybe try that, or a couple of these other guys try the 2 tires because we didn't even run a full lap under the green flag condition, but looks like only the 5 will make that call. As far as our leaders, maybe the 88 of Jorgensen Jr. as well. He came out right behind the 4 of Bordeaux, so a good move right there. Been a top 10 car all night, but for the 88 of Jorgensen, that was a pretty good pretty good chance or timing for him to take a 2-tire stop, get him a little bit more track position, see what he's got for some of these leaders.
So they get back into single file order behind multiple cars that end up staying out on the racetrack. I believe many of which going to be looking for some wave buys, but it looks like Samuel Roush staying out, Chuck Sweeting, Taylor Hurst, Tyler Dalton also still out on the racetrack. Doy Woods is out there. Ryan Luz has stayed out, as we mentioned, in the O2. And John Wilco in front of them all taking a wave by to go from 3 laps down to 2 laps down. So the first cars on tires might be back 4 or 5 rows, depending on how long, if these guys stay out for the conclusion of the caution flag cycle.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be, is who has the amount of time on the or excuse me, how long this green flag run will be is what's going to show us what's going to happen for guys like the 28 of Doy Woods, the 19, or how about the 74 Taylor Hurst. We knew Taylor had some speed early on, so a little bit of a change-up of scenery for him. He was a little further back, so maybe a good call for him at this point to get some of that track position back.
Lights stay on the pace car, so we got at least 2 laps till we come back to take the green flag. We'll take this quick opportunity, step away, and go LSRTV non-stop so you don't miss a moment of the action. Back in a moment with more continuing coverage of the Pocono 200, part of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back live to the virtual Pocono Raceway. Ryan Luza is your leader with now 50 laps complete in the Pocono 200. Tonight's presentation of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series on LSRTV is brought to you by ProGeek Consulting. Since 1998, ProGeek Consulting has been providing IT solutions to small and mid-sized businesses in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area. Their strong work ethic and attention to detail allows them to provide the best solutions for your needs. They specialize in a wide range of solutions, including infrastructure, networking, servers, storage, virtualization, with security, virtual CIO, and IT strategy. ProGeek Consulting LLC, proud title sponsor of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. The lights are off on top of the pace car. We get set to dance again. 29 laps to go in the Pocono 200, and this race is still wide open for someone to take it home. The O2, your pole sitter back in front in clean air. Green flag for Luza.
That green flag and a jumble up on the top side a little further back behind the 00 of Bradley Havard. They're 4 wide now into turn number 1. It's going to get awfully tight right here. And a couple of those drivers, some contact. The 9 up into the 2, which went up into Mitchell Hunt there. Maybe caught the wall. He's going to fall back quite a bit there. Still 3 wide off of turn 2. Some more contact. The 2 and the 9 make some more contact. Still 3 wide.
That 3 wide going to go all the way down to the corner. Is anybody going to lift? 2 wide itself is hard enough, and they're going to stick with it. No room topside for the 24, though. Roush could end up at the outside fence. They duck low to get away from it, and through all of that, still side by side in front go the number 19, the 5, the 34. More 3 wide coming off of turn number 3. Busa way up against the fence, getting the job done. Incredible restart.
This is absolutely amazing. Just the car control all these guys have right there. Michael Conti, some 3 wide action. How about the 01 now of Tyler Hudson looking in on the inside of Gorlinski? That is the battle for that 4th position right now through turn number 1. And wow, what's a great racing. I mean, cars are bouncing off each other all over the place right there, and they're still getting awfully close off of turn 1.
You come down out of turn 1, and they're all chasing Luza. He got well out in front of the mess behind him, and he's probably thinking that was the best thing to do. Doy Woods scored 2nd last time by. He'll lose that spot to the 74 of Taylor Hurst. Hurst was just back outside the top 25. He's back where he was the opening half of this race as he tries to get back in a battle for the race win, and 3 wide again, and this time it is the 5 on the inside with Busa in the middle. The 34, the 5 have been involved in 2 3-wide battles since the restart, and it looks like the outside 2 lanes going to win that fight for the moment, and now those
Right there, Conti did a smart move, I think, to back out of that one that time. He'll go at it now again to the inside of the 21. Oh, contact, more contact. They go down into the grass. The 5 trying to save it. It looks like he's going to keep it straight. Caution's out, though. Gorlinski hard into that inside wall.
If you flirt with fire long enough, you're going to get burned, and they did a really good job of the tunnel turn, all things considered. But they just ran out of room, and the 21 machine kind of got backed up after Doy Woods got out of shape, and with the 5 machine right up on him. Once that 21 tried to get around, it just did not work. And a heavy hit behind as hard into the inside fence goes John Gorlinski. That car is done with as it comes to a complete stop. And then Michael Conti doing a good job of getting out of shape, but getting on the gas and driving it away from that inside Armco barrier. And he's still in this race because of it, is damaged, but somehow falls to no deeper than P6.
He's dirt tracking it there through the grass. I mean, that was just an amazing job to hang on to it, not actually spin out at all. So they'll have some right side damage on that machine, but it doesn't look like too much damage to the front end. So he should still have a lot of speed left in that 5 car to at least keep himself up here towards the top 5. So we'll see how that 5 reacts after this, after we get back to the green flag racing. But that was just an incredible drive those last couple of laps by everybody on the field. A lot of 3 wide, 4 wide on that restart at Pocono is just one of those places that you'll see that a lot.
And now, once again, an opportunity to take service if you so desire. The field had to round down to turn number 1 to catch up to the pace car that came out of the end of pit road. So the pace car, first time, going to bring them around out of turn number 3 under the caution flag. So pit road going to be open if you do want to take service. And a little bit of a rash of yellow since we took the halfway point, with the yellow coming at lap number 39, just shy of the halfway marker. Still 34 cars, though, on the lead lap.
Yeah, still a ton of cars still on the lead lap, and we only ran about a quarter of a lap that last time, and everybody came down. So pit road is open. Here you come, all your leaders now back down pit road to get service again. Do we see some guys taking 4 tires, or some more guys taking 2 tires possibly this time around? And we'll see here. Looks like the first one in the stalls at 91. Eberhard actually overshoots it a bit, has to back up, so that's going to cost him here after he was inside the top 10. But everybody else heading down pit road, and all make it into their box, get service on their cars. I expect to see some different strategies this time.
We will see. We saw a little bit of it the last time in regards to pitting or not pitting. The 0-2, 4 tires, that's been his call all night long. And the race off of the pit lane going to be non-existent this time. No problem for Ryan Lewis to stay in front. Ray Rittenauer, Matt Quick both drive through pit road. We've seen them both do that already earlier in the night.
Yeah, we did, and we see the 5 of Michael Conti get service done and then stay on pit road to get that damage, what damage he did have on that right side, to get as much fixed before he gets back out there and races, obviously. So that's going to put him a little bit further back in the standings as well here. So he's going to have a lot of work to do to get himself back up towards the front before this thing's all said and done, because we're getting awfully close. 25 to go at this point. He's going to have to do it and do it in a hurry.
We take a look at the O2 machine, having a little bit of fun down on the access road, down in the tunnel turn. In front of him, but obviously going to be in front of him in the pace car, is Luza and Quick. They are both going to be scored on the lead lap, but I believe they will take over P1 and P2. And again, you'll see a lot of guys do that, drive down pit road, but don't take service. And occasionally we will see somebody do that, and it's not on purpose where they miss their stall. You'll see them flinch to go to the box, but they do that a little bit late, and they're not able to complete the service. But for these guys that do it, you might say, okay, well, why don't you just stay out behind the pace car and then come in? Well, if they roll through pit road like they did there, they can come down pit road coming to the 1 to go, and that would allow them to get service, catch up to the back of the field, and be behind everybody else for the restart. If you wait and don't come down pit road at all, Andy, when you come at a turn 3 to get the 1 to go, pit road's going to be closed for you. So just the way that that works inside of the sim, and Quick and Rittenauer are not the only people we have seen like to implement that strategy. Timmy Hill, one of the names that comes to mind, drive through pit road and then wait and hang out at the back. So the 89, the 87, they still want nothing to do with the, I think, inevitable 3 and 4 wide that we'll see when we go back at it.
Yeah, and who's to blame them for not wanting to get involved with that? I mean, that's just been some awesome piece of driving by all these guys up towards the front we've seen on these restarts, and I expect nothing less than the same on this one here, too, as well. A few more fast guys there just outside the top 5, still looking to get back into that top 5. Tyler Hudson comes into mind. He was up there towards the top 3 earlier on in this race, and right now outside the top 5, of course, wanting to make up a couple more of those spots. Ray Alfala, it seems like he's had to pass more cars than anybody else, because every time he comes off pit road, he loses more ground. So other than that first stop when he came out ahead of everybody, it's been a tough go on pit road for the 2.
So we look to see if the lights do indeed go off this time. If they do, you will be able to know, I think, because Quick and Rittenauer are going to make that left turn down to the inside before the lights actually go off at the start-finish line. Drivers are able to know from the race control tower if they are 2 laps to go for the restart. If it does come at this point, then we'll have a restart with 22 laps to go. That still gives us a quarter of the race. That remains not yet at 3/4 distance. 57 laps of 80 on the evening have been completed up until this point. Kind of hard to say if you're going to be at the last pit stop. Hard to say based on the caution flag numbers that we've seen. I don't think that we would be able to go the next 22 laps without a yellow, because you have to think, when are they going to drive the hardest? It's going to be now. And then we'll ask ourselves that question again, and it's going to be the next restart and the next restart. So every single time you get a yellow, you group everybody back up. On one hand, you get frustrated because you keep stopping and starting, and on the other hand, you can't say, okay, well, I'm going to take it easy. You take it easy, you lose 7 spots on 1 lap. So you got to go for the 3 wide. They've tried 3-1 and 1. They've tried 3 wide in turn number 3. I'm just waiting for them to try it in the tunnel turn. They've gotten close a couple of times. We've seen plenty of 2 wide. That's a really tight turn, though.
I remember that last restart. I think it was the 24 that was stuck up on the outside there, but they were able to clear him pretty quickly. It was Samuel Roush in that 24 machine that was way up on the outside in turn number 2, and that made it kind of interesting coming off that quarter exit. But he's a little further back this time here on this restart, so we'll see what he can do on that. How about a couple other guys, big movers we haven't talked about much? Chuck Sweeting, second place finish last week at Charlotte. He started 21st here tonight. He's up to 10th right now, so very quietly, sort of just like the 83 of Adam Benefield, who is going to start just to his inside on this restart. Kind of the same way as him, just very quietly picking his way through the field, and comes towards the end, you find him up closer to the front.
They're doubled up all the way back 17 rows deep of cars on the lead lap, many of which, to be fair, at the back do have a little bit of damage. It won't be talked about much at all for the rest of this race because they were involved in some earlier accidents, don't have competitive cars, but they continue to get service at the yellow flags, continue to get back out on the racetrack, and they're in a conservation mode, just trying to get whatever they can out of these cars and hopefully pick up a couple more spots, as maybe a couple more going to fall down wayside from some accidents. We're going to ring the field at a turn number 3. Going to be 22 laps to go in the Pocono 200, and back it away.
Good jump on the outside by the 0-2. Matthew Moose going to struggle a little bit now. 34 Busa going to look to kind of maybe split him now. So they go 3 wide once again. Make it 4 wide now with Hudson down to the bottom. Matthew Moose trying to back out of it. Not going to have it 3 wide. Maybe a little contact with the 74. It's awfully close right there. Here comes the 4 as well. Bordeaux, 3 wide off 2.
It's not going to last much longer. 3 wide, 4 rows deep, and 3 wide in front for the number 3 position. Luza once again going to be able to break away from all of this as Matthew Moose falls. There's the 3 wide in the tunnel turn, the 0-1 in the middle. He'll get out of the gas, and somehow Ray Alfala, he plays chicken with Hudson and Hurst and wins that fight.
Yeah, he does, and I think the only reason he won that fight was he was on that bottom lane at the preferred lane through that tunnel turn, and it'll prove to be the move that gets him to that 3rd spot. Hurst, though, not done yet, just as of yet. He's still right there on the back bumper of that 2 as they race down this long front straightaway, using that draft to their advantage. We'll see if anyone peeks out, but they're not going to this time. They'll still stay single file into turn number 1, but behind them, they're still 2 wide. Eberhardt to the inside. Matthew Moose continuing to fall.
The 14 was the pinball and a lot of 3 wide, and that almost made big issues coming out of turn 1 on the restart. How about out of turn 1 this time? The 74 of Taylor Hurst. He lost that spot to the 2 in that 3 wide battle. Not going to give it up, though, on the inside, and the 2 going to run him out of room. There was just about a car length and no more down there, but he pinched him down, and that's exactly run. Really, even though that guy's coming up behind you, you're not even running the defensive line. That's an offensive line for Ray Alfala. He's on the offensive there, squeezing to the inside, making sure the 74 can't get back to the gas and can't swing wide like he would like to. And because of that, the 2 still sits in 3rd. The problem is they were so slow on that first lap because they were 3 and 4 wide that he's now 1.4 seconds behind Ryan Luza in front, and Matt Busa trying to get back up there. We've seen this story before with the 0-2 and the 34 pulling away. They're trying to do just that now inside of the final quarter distance of this race.
Yeah, they are. We'll see how long it takes for Matt Busa to get up back to his bumper again, though. We've seen him do it about 2 or 3 times now. You see him close the gap quite a bit there in the tunnel turn. And down this short shoot down to turn number 3. Matt Busa, definitely a very fast car here tonight, and a couple times, like I mentioned, he's been able to run down that 0-2. Hasn't been able to make the pass yet, though, under the green flag conditions. So besides that part of it, or that most important part of getting around for that race lead, other than that, he still had a fast enough car to catch up to him.
So the 0-2 and the 74, that was a combination. Then the 0-2 and the 34, that was one as well. And it looks like Busa, slowly but surely, he's reeling them in and catching up. The gap was at 4/10. The gap now at just 3/10 of a second. So he's not going to roll over and give this one up by any means. But while Busa closes in, so does Ray Alfala. And again, the 0-2 Orion Michael Luza out in front in clean air. And you have to think is feeling fairly confident because out in front of the field, even when he had Busa on the back bumper, even when he had Hurst on the back bumper, they either A, weren't able to make a move, or B, did not make a move. If it's option B, you might be a little bit nervous because they're not going to hang back anymore with just 18 laps to go this time out of that 3rd and final corner. When they get to him, you can best expect that they're not going to sit around much longer than they need to. They're going to try to make that move and get it done with sooner than later.
Yeah, they're going to have to get that move done quicker. They can't sit there and ride behind them, especially when we get down towards the later stages of this race, and with that potential that the caution could end it once we get to that 5 to go mark as well, too. So if you're going to take that lead, you got to do it, and you got to do it as fast as you possibly can. Taylor Hurstow losing another spot. Tyler Hudson able to get around him for that 4th spot. Adam Benefield tried to get around him as well, and unfortunately wasn't able to. Derek Bordeaux, though, was able to get into the fight as well now as he runs side by side with that 83 into turn number 3, and they'll try to get it done on the bottom side. And Benefield trying to pull up at least even with him now, and these two better watch out because that 91 Eberhard, he's coming as well.
Yeah, Eberhard wants to be in the conversation. He another driver that started from way back and is in this thing. In fact, how about being the biggest mover on the night? John Gorlinski had that honor for the better part of this event, but his night does not come to a conclusion as he would have liked to after that hard hit coming off of the first turn. It looks like he'll end up with no better than a 35th place result after looking like a car that could have easily at least attempted and made a fair argument to try to win this race. Now it goes to that 37th starting position for Eberhard, up to 8th at the moment. He's passed 29 cars from the start of the race. Getting the next 7 going to be the most difficult thing he would have had to do on the evening. Not sure he'll be able to get that far, but he's not far enough out of the way to maybe discount and throw away the chances of maybe getting inside the top 5.
Yeah, he definitely has an opportunity to do that. Only needs a few more spots, and he's got a couple guys in front of him. He's been chasing down that 83 of Adam Benefield. Actually got up within a car length of him just a moment ago. Lost it, though, off of turn number 3. So the 91 definitely has some speed here and done a great job over the course of the night to make his way up through the field. And just to give you a little update on that 5 of Michael Conti, restarted 29th at last time by the stripe. He's up to 15th already, so he's got an opportunity here tonight, even with that damage and sitting on pit road and getting it fixed. He's got an opportunity to get a top 10 before this thing's over.
So while the battle for the race lead stays dormant for the moment, as you say, there's battles all over the racetrack, like one for P10. Doy Woods, a little bit slow off of the tunnel turn. The next quick entry of Alex Bergeron stuck a nose to the inside. In fact, I thought he had a fairly good run, but he backed out of it. Wanted to get in line behind. He gets the left side tires on the curb, and that's going to get him just enough out of shape to not be able to put the hammer down. Ducks back in line, 15 to go.
He's going to duck in line just for a moment there. He's got to get that draft, get that speed back up, because Landon Harrison and that 70 machine right behind him looking to take a spot away as well, and a couple spots behind those guys. That's where you got to see Michael Conti up to the 4th spot now, or 14th spot, I should say, and looking for more with those guys just ahead of him here with just about 15 to go. So plenty of time, obviously, for a few more spots for that 5 to make up and get him a decent finish here tonight, as everything else up front is pretty much stabled itself out. Everybody running single file, pretty good gap between all the front runners right now, and up through the top 8 or so. Right now, nobody really making any moves or making up any ground to try to get some spots here late in the going.
The gap is fluctuating between P1 and P2. Lucy gains a little bit one lap, and Busa gains a little bit the next lap. They are close. It is a 0.4 of a second differential. That's comfortable in terms of it is one of the better gaps that Ryan Lusa has been able to have all night long. It's uncomfortable in the fact that you get just a little bit out of shape. You have just a small mistake, and that gap is all but erased, if not losing the race lead entirely. So the O2's got to be on edge, and one thing that he may not want to see is a caution once more, because that would allow everybody to group back up, and everybody has been fairly in agreement on what strategy should be tonight. We have seen 2 tire calls, we have seen people stay out, but most of the guys that have been battling for the race win tonight have wanted 4 tires every single time. You get a late race yellow, you're going to have guys taking none, guys taking 2, guys taking 4, left sides only, right sides only, who knows. You don't want to put yourself in that position, especially as the leader, because you're where you've been all night long, you're out in clean air, and you might think that if you find yourself back in traffic, you don't know just how good that O2 Chevrolet is going to run. So Ryan Lusa, he's got to get everything he's got without burning up his equipment to try to get away, and he put a 10th on that time.
And he's going to have 12 to go this next time by as well, too. So definitely closing in on the finish of this one here. And all these guys setting pace at this point here. I would say the lap time's pretty equal. Top 5 guys, not much going on as far as the scoring going. Like you talked about, Busa will gain a little bit, but then Luza will take it back away that following lap. So those guys pretty much running the same exact lap times. Ray Alfala, the speed we saw with him about that midway point of that race, been able to make up a lot of spots, just not quite being able to catch down the 34 at the time being right now. I mean, he is gaining a little bit, but it's just not enough. I think he'll run out of time before he gets an opportunity.
The clock is ticking for sure, and he's not taking it easy by any means. You know, you almost get into a position like this where you want to back it down. You don't want to think about that guy behind you too much because you're thinking about a mistake. And when you think about a mistake, and the 34's job right now is to just be there. Let the 0-2 know that he's there. Let him know that if he makes a mistake, he's up on it. And he's trying to force Ryan Luza into a mental mistake. You can't afford to let yourself to run around here at the Pocono Raceway and think about yourself making a mistake. That cannot happen because chances are if you think about yourself making a mistake and you visualize yourself doing that, it might just very well happen. But he's been doing an exceptional job of driving the wheels off that car. In fact, he's driving it harder than I think we've seen him drive it all night long. Just watch how tight he's getting it up to the fence coming out of turn number 1. Both of these guys are pushing the limit. They come up off of the corner, and not much more than 6 inches between that passenger side and the concrete barrier.
No, and actually, the 34 almost really got into it right there. He actually chopped down one lane off of that wall there, kind of jerked that wheel away because it was going to be awfully close for him getting up there as well. So, you know, that just seeing that type and the car stepping out just a little bit and getting so close to that wall, you know they're giving it everything they got because that's how you're going to be the fastest when you chase that thing right up to that wall to get down the straightaway. So Busa doing everything he possibly can to catch Luza at this point in the race, but I really think that 0-2, whether he was saving something earlier on and that's why the 34 was able to catch up to him, or if at this point in the race he's just absolutely figured something out, something a little bit better on this run here. Maybe the different tires, maybe a little bit better for him this round too, but you never know. But definitely on a rail at this point and not looking back, 10 to go.
Inside of the final 10 laps, you got 4 more if you're Ryan Luza to get to the safe point where a caution will not have to put you through one final restart in this race. Inside of the final 5 laps without an overtime system in place, and this race ending at 80 laps regardless of circumstance, you get a caution inside the final 5 laps, especially with cars down. You're not going to have the opportunity to get that yellow, run through a caution flag procedure, and get a restart in place. So the 0-2 needs to get to that point, and if the yellow were to drop, he'd be able to take the checker and the yellow alongside each other at a much slower and I think a lot less stressful pace than it is now. And if you're Matt Busa, you're also thinking of that number, which is now just 3 laps away. Well, I don't think the 34's got a chance of catching him in 3 laps. He has to pick up the pace if he wants to get to him at all with 8 laps to go. He also has that number in mind, and he knows that he can't sit around. So the 34, I think at this point, he's given it everything he has, and I don't think that's going to be enough.
Yeah, at this point in the race, it's just not looking at the gap's actually starting to increase with every lap they go by. 8/10 was the scoring last time by, so it's pretty much settled out right there. Ray Alfala as well, kind of losing a couple tenths as well over the last few laps to the leader. So the 0-2 definitely in the mindset at this point right now on cruise control, I think, off of turn number 3. You see this time, and coming to the stripe here, we'll have 8 to go, and he's just, it's at that point, I think, as the leader, when you've got such a commanding lead like you do at a place like this, it's just all about hitting your marks and being as smooth as possible. It is so easy. Oh, it cautions out on the speedway.
And this one comes with 73 laps to go. 73 laps into this race with 7 laps to go. And that magic 5 to go to Randy, he's not going to get to it.
No, he's not. Now we're going to have to endure a whole nother restart here. Looks like the 19 Tyler Dalton into turn number 3 was the cause of this one there. Just flat out lost it going into the corner there, and then ended up going up and smacking the wall. Tried to slow it down a little bit. Came back down the racetrack. Looks like everybody able to get around him. Awfully close there up by the wall for the 7. But everybody able to get around the 19. He's backing away, but our final caution, obviously, that we'll see. Not the final caution, maybe, but the final restart we'll have here coming up. And now the big question is tires? No tires.
They get against the pace car this time. They have to get down into turn number 1 before they're able to get to the American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang GT that has been pacing the field for tonight's contest. So they're going to come to 6 laps to go. That's going to be the point where pit road opens. I think you're going to get 2. You might be lucky to get 3, but I'm thinking it might be a good old-fashioned green-white checker to the end here. Getting to the white, I think, on that restart is going to be the issue. But this is where you can make or break your race because, again, while I do think guys are going to come down pit road regardless, Loser could stay out, everybody else could pit. He could come down, everybody else could stay out. I think it might be just a 2-tire call or even a no-tire call that wins this because I think you need track position. Well, we have seen 4 wide, so getting around people in front of you hasn't been an issue. I think staying green long enough to take advantage of those tires might be the problem you find yourself in, so I think it might be a 2-tire call that wins it.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Just what we've seen into turn number 1, these last couple of restarts, this is going to be, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see, when these guys do come down. Do you take that opportunity or that chance to stay out and hope that there is a quick caution? And very well could be with the restarts we've had. A 2-tire stop, maybe a guy staying out a little further back could end up pulling out the win or stealing a win away from Luza. And of course, that'll be basically 2 weeks in a row. He was pretty fast last week at Charlotte as well, but Ray Alfala ended up picking up the win. Pit road's open. Everybody's coming down. Oh, he got snookered out of that one, the 0-2 Aluza. That's not what he wanted to see right there. Everybody behind him. There's going to be a lot of cars staying out, and he's going to be in a lot of traffic here.
I told you, they stay. If he comes down, they could all stay out. And I think Taylor Hurst may have wanted to stay out. He didn't have enough time. And I think that enough cars stay out. You look at some of the names that are up there. Alex Bergeron, Adam Benefield, Derek Bordeaux, Tyler Hudson, Ray Alfala, Matt Busa. Like I said, you can go 4 wide to get around him. But I don't think you were going to be green enough to get to that point. And I said a 2-tire call might win it. Well, maybe the no-tire call might just be enough to get the job done.
Oh, this is going to be an awesome restart right here. I mean, older tires for these guys up to the front. We'll have to see when everything cycles through where exactly the 0-2 sits. But, obviously the fresh tires will probably be able to make up a whole bunch of spots. He'll probably be able to make up a whole bunch of spots rather quickly, I think. But for him to have the advantage with the fresh tires, it's going to all be if we can finish this thing out in green or if we do get that caution that nobody, well, maybe the 34 wants to see quickly here, but other than that, this is going to be an awesome restart. You're going to see some 4, probably 5 wide into turn 1.
And we await that moment, and these guys, they have a lot of time to think about it. You'll see somebody in a high-pressure situation in sports, you leave somebody wide open and they miss the shot because they got too much time to think about it. I think these guys, Andy, would much rather just go, but they now have, with the caution laps taken here almost at about 2 minutes, they have way too much time to think about so many possible different scenarios. And then we all know that whatever plan you formulate in your head's not going to mean anything when we get to the green flag, but their heads are racing right now.
Oh, yeah, they're thinking about tire spin on this restart. It's going to jumble things up quite a bit, so for these guys to fan out pretty quickly, it's probably going to happen, but this is going to be a lot of fun to watch and probably going to be hard to call. I think we're going to stumble a few times on car numbers here, but this is going to be a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully everyone that is watching right now does not turn their head away at all. Don't even blink, as this is going to be you want to see some of the best go at it here on different strategies. This is exactly what you're going to see, and everything's cycled out through here, and you have to look way back to 15th to see Ryan Luza, Dylan Jones, some of the first guys that came down pit road, Michael Conti as well in 17th, so Eberhardt too as well. He was inside the top 10, now he's sitting 18th on this restart, so this is going to be an interesting one.
The 34, the 2, they're going to make up row number 1. You got the 01 and the 4 back on row number 2. Sorry, 3rd and 4th position for Hudson Bordeaux Benefield inside of the top 5. You have to think, though, you know, how deep can you be to have an opportunity? Ryan Lusa is 15th position after getting duked out of pit road.
Yeah, I mean, 14 guys stayed out. This is exactly what the 34, the 2, the 01, this is what they wanted. When they decided to stay out, they needed a whole bunch of other guys to stay out as well, because if there was only 3 or 4 of them staying out, then I would definitely put the advantage to the 02. But with 14 guys that stayed out on the racetrack here, this is going to be a tough go at it for Lusa. He has a definite possibility to get to the top 10 easily, I think, with how fast he will be on the tires, but it's still going to be a tough road ahead, and there's always that possibility of that quick caution, which will really put him back there.
We look to see if the lights go off this time by, and if they do, it will give us a better idea of just how many laps are going to be left. What do we do? Take the green flag. Lights on top of the pace car in front of the field are out. As we take lap 77, it is going to be a 3-lap to go shootout in the Poconos. If you get to the white flag, you get to race it out to the checkered flag. The numbers say that may not be the case, because next yellow ends this thing on the spot, and you got a bunch of guys back in the pack that are going to be charging on fresh tires. And I think more excitingly, Andy, is you got a bunch of guys up front on equally old and terrible handling tires that have been at each other's throats all night that get one last crack at each other.
I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. I want to see how well those guys with the fresh tires get through and how high they can get up here. I hope this goes green for these final three laps, but at the same time, I want to see these guys with the older tires up front battle it out. I mean, Boost has been very fast on the old tires, and can he hang on to it, or is Ray Alfala going to dive it into turn number 1 and take it away? Or how about the 01? We've seen him go 3 wide, 4 wide a couple times on restarts, starting on that inside lane. So is he going to be there into turn number 1 as well, trying to battle for this lead? This is going to be a lot of fun, and just sit back and watch, everybody, because this is going to be a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to call here at the final couple laps.
They're going to scrub the tires, they're going to give those cars a shake, and they're going to get set to do it. For one final time in the Pocono 200, the pace car is going to make the sharp left-hand turn down and away, and we are going to have just 3 laps left to go in the Pocono Raceway. Booster to the outside of the control car in Ray Alfala. They come off for the final turn, and they look for the American Ethanol green flag. The final restart on the evening coming up. How wide do they get? How far do they go? Green flag in the air. Booster leads us down.
A little bobble by the 2 there. Ray Alfala. It's going to open up the inside. Here comes Tyler Hudson now, looking for that second spot. Booster got a pretty good jump. Alfala, though, even with the tire spin, here they go, 3 wide into turn number 1. The 01 of Hudson actually backed out of it. Alfala is going to have the advantage. Oh, trouble a little bit further back. Cars are spinning. Caution will be out, and that's going to end it right there.
Busso with the nose in front going to win at Pocono as Alfala dove to the inside. He was at the disadvantage nonetheless coming off for the corner, but he was there and he was going to make him fight for it. And no surprise that the carnage breaks out anywhere. We saw the guys on fresh tires struggling to get through the thick traffic in turn number 1. They tried to go 4 wide, and it looked like the 80 dot of Matt Quick and them, they just ran out of room. There was about 3 separate pieces of contact all at the same time, and that led to big junk and a huge wreck for the 5 of Michael Conti, somebody who was in this race all night long. He gets up on his lid on top of some other cars, out and over the fence in turn number 1.
Yeah, you know what? It all starts way back when he had that contact with Gorlinski. He had to sit on pit road, and then he had to work his way back up from the 29th spot when he restarted there after getting that damage fixed. So we'll go on board the 5 with the replay, but that's where it all started. Right there when he had to sit there and get that damage fixed, found himself struggling to get back to the top 10, top 5 to be up where he was running all race long. So that's what it does, and that's what happens. And sometimes a good race can fall bad quickly, and in other aspects, a bad race can end up pretty good. You look at a guy like Alex Bergeron, who started 17th. He's going to get a 6th place finish here tonight. That's a great job for that driver of the 12. And it just shows you, though, it's all over the place, all over the map, but exactly what we thought was going to happen there in the turn number 1. Some 4-wide action and just not enough room for everybody to get through.
So the damage to the battered race cars, those that can't make it any further, they limp down to the pit lane. The 34, all alone down the backstretch and catches up to the pace car. They will take the one to go this time by. And another second place finish for Ray Alfala just behind. He's constantly in these races, and he constantly ends up with the short end of the straw.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know, my math might be off, but that's 14 races since Daytona, counting tonight. And that's about, he's got 6 wins, and I think he's got about, it's either 5 or 6 second place finishes. So, I mean, that's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't think he's had much more than 2 or 3 finishes in the last 10 weeks that haven't been second place finishes. He's been there a lot. I think he had 5 in a row at the end of the first segment.
Yeah, that's right. He did have 5 in a row. Yeah, so I mean, this is just absolutely phenomenal what he's been able to do and continues to do it. And I think for a lot of these guys, how about Matt Bussa, though, his 3rd win on the season? Kind of reminds me a little bit of that Martinsville race we saw a few weeks ago, probably a couple months ago at this point, but where he just squeezed it out on the outside lane there on that restart with Logan Clampett and basically stole that win away when the caution came out. So he basically had the same thing going for him right here on turn number 1 with Ray Alfala to his inside. So that's a couple of those wins for a couple of the 3 wins for him, awfully close and all credited to that caution flag.
The white flag waves from the Pocono Raceway, and unfortunately, such a thrilling race, I think, is not going to get the finish that it deserves. It's going to be at a slowed pace. Caution flags always a part of the strategy and a part of, I think, dictating whoever wins these races at Pocono, because it is such an exciting racetrack to watch these guys go at it at. And, with turns 1, turns 2, and turns 3, being all different from each other. You look at 16, you look at 11, and then you look at 14 down in turn 1, 11, and you got 6 down in turn 3. It's something different every single time, and the wide straightaways, the long straightaways, they just have so many opportunities to race. They can go at each other, not without consequence, and you saw that here tonight at Pocono. It is going to be a caution and a checker alongside. Outside of that point, we saw some incredible stuff tonight.
Yeah, what a great job as he takes the checkered flag right there for his 3rd win on the season for Matt Bussa, getting it done at Pocono. He had a couple short track wins and now gets it done on a big 2.5-mile speedway. A couple others big names up there close to the top 10. How about Chuck Sweeting? 2nd race for him, his 2nd top 10, 2nd place last week, 9th this week. And then how about Ray Rittenauer? All night long, back in the 30s, somewhere in the 30s, all night. We saw him staying out a couple times for a great job at 87 as well. So, like I said, a bad night can go good real quick on a race like this, and at the same time, a good night can go bad really quick.
Coming off of the final turn, checkered flag and the win. Matt Bussa going to get the job done. He wins the Pocono 200 with Ray Alfala coming home behind in 2nd, and Tyler Hudson coming home in the number 3 spot, getting the job done and officially locking this thing up. And he celebrates on the front straightaway, so we'll take this opportunity to step aside. We'll talk with the top finishers in a moment and break down what's to come in the next couple of Sunday evenings. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series. Back for the post-race show from Pocono when we return.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So You know, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. You know, it's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and you know, the straights are unbelievably long. Tricky track, and you know, every year
Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race, so it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads, so when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
We're happy to have you back live from the Pocono Raceway for the LSRTV post-race show. Matt Busa collects the checkered flag tonight. We'll take a look and speak with him down at Gatorade Victory Lane in a moment. First, let's take a look at your LSRTV full race results presented tonight by ProGeek Consulting. Since 1998, ProGeek has been providing IT solutions to small and mid-sized businesses in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area. Their strong work ethic and attention to detail allows them to provide the best solution for your needs. They specialize in a wide range of solutions that include infrastructure, networking, servers, storage, virtualization, security, virtual CIO, and IT strategy. The number 34 for the outsider runner 1, but also the best truck, or rather the best car in the practice session tonight for P1, ends up coming home atop the pylon tonight, winning the Pocono 200. Another second place for Ray Alfala, who comes home second tonight, and Tyler Hudson going to end up in the number 3 spot. Derek Bordeaux walks away with the 4th, and rounding out your top 5 is the 83 of Adam Benefield. Alex Bergeron, P6, Matthew Moose in 7th, Austin Jones with an 8th, 9th for Chuck Sweetie, and Mark Jorgensen Jr. going to round out your top 10.
A great finish for the 87, Ray Rittenauer. He's able to come home in the 11th spot. 12th, that goes to the 71 of Mitchell Hunt. Taylor Hurst, one of the top runners there, started 3rd, led a bunch of laps here tonight. He'll finish 13th. 14th goes to Samuel Roush. Ryan Luza dominated this race here tonight. He'll come home in the 15th spot. 16th to Landon Harrison. Jonathan Goke will finish in the 17th spot. 18th to Greg Spears. David Ankeny will finish 19th, and 20th goes to the 64, Michael Priester.
Behind him, you got Joshua Campbell in 21st, Doy Woods 22nd, Tyler Dalton, Brandon Hastings, and John Wilco come home 23rd, 24th, and 25th, with Stephen Herring and Chad Coleman rounding out the drivers that finished on the lead lap in 26th. Gaggle of cars 2 laps down include Michael Conti in 28th position, a 29th for Bradley Havard, and as well Jason K. Miller in 30th.
Dylan Jones involved in that last accident as well. He finishes 31st on the night. 32nd goes to Matt Quick. Daniel Eberhardt had a top 10 run there late in the going. He'll end up finishing 33rd. 34th goes to Paul Cooper. John Gorlinski will come home in the 35th spot. 36th goes to E.J. O'Rourke. Josh Parker to 37th. 38th, Paul Fugate. Bentley Glazer, involved in the first accident, finishes 39th. 40th, Santiago Tires, and Joseph Gulata, also involved in that first accident. He will round out the 41 cars that raced here tonight at Pocono. But it's that time down in Victory Lane. Devin, and he's caught up with our winner, Matt Busa.
Matt Busa gets the job done tonight, and It was not easy on him because there was plenty of time in this race where he was chasing, and for a lot of the night, a lot of guys were chasing your eventual 15th place finisher, Ryan Luza. But a late race caution, a late race restart changed it all, Matt, and you were door to door coming off of that first turn on the restart thinking that you and Ray Alfalo were going to be in for one whale of a fight. But the caution flag drops and you got the nose in front. You hand him another second to place finish. You're back into victory lane.
Yeah, it was a really good race there first with me and Ryan Luza. And then, unfortunately, he pitted there. And, well, unfortunately, the caution came out first. That ruined what was going to be his win. And then that final restart there, I got a little jump on Ray going into turn one. And then I knew there was going to be a wreck with all the guys trying to gain positions there. So I drove it in pretty deep, kind of like what I did in Martinsville in season 1, just hoping it would be a caution, and had the nose on him on the exit right when the yellow came out. Luckily, that nose gave me the win.
You get the W here. Another exciting race at Pocono, one of the more unique tracks, I think, safe to say, that we see on the 2016 calendar. Tons, though, of 3 and 4 wide on that last restart, but you guys didn't wait for the last restart to get aggressive. It was like that all night long, and then we saw times where the top 2 would break away, and you guys would just sit there nose to tail and ride for 15 laps at a time, getting no further than a car length apart. It looked like an extremely competitive race.
Yeah, definitely. Me and Luz that first run, I think I had a little bit more pace than him, only like a couple hundredths more, but there's no way to pass him. Pretty much the only way would to be get a good run off of turn 1, except the way I would drive turn 1 on my own is driving in pretty deep compared to him, so it just screwed up my entry, having to follow him in there. And then Ray there, once he got up to 3rd place, I think the top 3 were very, very equal. That final run heading to the checkers before the yellow came out.
So we continue to march forward now in this the second segment on 2016. Just 2 races behind us. You guys get the win here tonight, which is going to be a good stepping stone to roll forward after the lack of results from Charlotte. We go to Michigan next week on the 12th for the Michigan 200. That another very unique racetrack, similar to what we've seen in Fontana. 2-mile D-shaped oval. Another track where there's going to be nice high speeds. How do you think the car is going to be when we get there?
I'm hoping it's a bit on the looser side. I feel like if you're going to end up killing the right front more than guys like Luza and Ray, then they might have an advantage over me in the long run. But if the car is a little bit looser, where the right rear wears out more, I think I would be able to keep up with them. So I'm hoping got to wheel it next week.
You guys did a lot of that tonight, and it was a finish that leaves plenty of the drivers behind you wanting more, but they definitely gave you your money's worth here tonight. Did you steal the Pocono 200? Before we let you go, Matt, as always, the sponsors, the shout-outs, the good folks behind the scenes. Who do you want to thank down here from Gatorade Victory Lane?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout-out to my teammates at Gala Force Racing, work we do on the impasse side of things, and you guys for broadcasting LSRTV, and for Schoenberg and everyone for putting this league together. It's a lot of fun, especially this season. We got a very stacked field.
I want to thank you for sticking around and chatting. Congratulations again, and best of luck. We'll see you guys do it once again next week.
Thank you.
That is your winner tonight from Pocono, Matt Busa, getting the job done. A fast car all night long, and he capitalizes on the late race restart, and he walks away the victor tonight in the Pocono Raceway. Caught up trackside with the rest of the drivers inside of your top 3. First with P2 Ray Alfala, again comes home just 1 spot shy, walking away with another trip to victory lane. On the plus side, though, continuing with the strong results.
Yeah, continuing with the strong results is absolutely correct. Second place finish. Finished segment 1 with 5 straight second place finishes. Picked up the win last week at Charlotte, but you come up 1 spot short here tonight, Ray. Talk about this race. It seemed quite a bit. You seemed to have to pass a lot of cars here tonight. It seemed like every time we went down pit road, you lost a couple more spots each and every time, and then you had to work that much harder to get them all back.
Yeah, we got a little bit of damage early on. Contact with Matt, I think, and I'm not sure how much it affected the car, but I decided to fix it all and went back to the middle of the pack and Had a lot of fun in the pack, passing cars and whatnot. And then, the race had a bunch of different strategies, and we couldn't quite get back up there, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, if this thing went green at the end there, it would have been, I think, a pretty good battle between you and Matt Busso. You guys have had a few of those so far this season, whether it be segment 1 or here tonight. Going into turn number 1, he said he really drove it in there deep, trying to hoping that there would be a caution similar to how he got the win back at Martinsville. But what was your strategy there, being on that bottom side? I know the bottom's a pretty tough place to pass in turn number 1. But if you could keep it off of down that Long Pond straightaway, you definitely have the advantage in the turn 2. Was that your strategy going in there when you saw him take the outside?
Yeah, I just wanted to have a lane going into the turn. I didn't want to have to go in there behind him, because then you kind of lose your line of sight, and you could even get into him if you're not careful. So I kind of just wanted to have a lane, and then I was surprised that I was able to get up side by side with him. But yeah, that would have been fun if we would have gone green there, because he was going to clear me off at 1, and then we were just going to race it out for the next 2 laps. I was surprised that Ryan pit. We were only going to have a restart with 3 or 4 laps left, so it's just not going to end well when you have so many cars with old tires and new tires. So, but yeah, it was a fun race overall. More more hardships than I've experienced at any other race this season, but we're back in a very familiar spot, second place it seems.
There's nothing wrong about finishing up there. Keeps that average finish going for you too as well. So second place finish here tonight, and a huge field for Pocono. 41 cars making a start here tonight. It's pretty good for segment 2 to get its way a good start like this with the car count.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought with with the cup race being rained out that people might even forget about the race. But yeah, we had 41 cars, and there's a lot of competition this season. I'd say even more than that last season. So next week I think we're headed to Michigan, and we'll have the new build. So the cars are going to change a little bit. They're going to have the 2016 spoiler, and Ford's going to have the new body, and with the digital dash, so that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun next week, obviously, with the new build to make things a lot different. But that's at Michigan. That's 1 week from now. Second place for you, Ray. Sponsor shout-outs. Who helps you get it?
Yeah, FollowTech.com if you're looking for a gaming computer. Visit us. And also Wendell Scott Foundation, StemSimX, and Snowcone Production for the broadcast. And we'll see you all next week.
Well, there you have it. Second place once again here tonight at Pocono, and another one to chalk up for the second place stats for the season. Congratulations again, Ray, and we'll see you next week at Michigan.
Thanks, guys.
Well, there you have it. Second place finisher. Now I'll slide over here, talk to our third place finisher, Tyler Hudson. And Tyler, a solid night all night. You ran up front the majority of the night. A couple times you were flirting with the top 10, but overall had a pretty good car for yourself. Talk about this place and how the car felt for you.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. I was just a little bit off of from those really fast guys. This track's always been one of my worst. To just keep up as good as I was really surprised and happy about that. So I knew I didn't have quite their speed, so I just tried to beat them, with smarts, and it worked out on a lot of them. But came home third. That's pretty cool. Just tried to run a smart race, be clean, have fun. Those restarts, man, they are absolutely crazy. It was amazing we didn't have more wrecks than we did, really and truly. But it was a lot of fun. I appreciate Brian letting me race in this league.
That is a lot of fun, and those restarts, talk about those for a second. I mean, a couple times we saw you dive it down in there into turn number 1 on the inside, making it 3 wide, even a couple times maybe 4 wide there for a moment. But what leads to that here at Pocono? I know these long straightaways, and it's all about getting on the gas and when you do, but you got such a long gap before you get to turn number 1. There's so much time for movement. How do you really size that up, and how do you know when to make that move and go for it on the bottom side?
Well, like at the end there, I knew I had old tires. I was on the bottom of Ray and Matt, and I knew going in that low, old tires, no arc, it's real bumpy. That's pretty much, if I settled it in there, we were going to crash. So I tried to make something happen, but, those guys are good and nothing was going there. But, I mean, earlier in the race, on those restarts, honestly, it's a lot of it's luck, being in the right lane, being in the lane that moves or having momentum to where, like, yeah, a lot of those restarts was on the inside. If I was on the outside, I couldn't go anywhere. I would have been stuck. So that's what a lot of it was. But the green flag flies right after the pace car turns off, so everybody pretty much knows about when we're going to go. And you can, I mean, there's some things you're not really supposed to lay back or anything, but there's ways you can kind of time it in your favor, and that's what I was doing most of the night. And fortunately, it all paid off.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Get yourself a top 3 finish here tonight on the podium. Not a bad way to start here, race number 2 into segment number 2 of this 2016 season. But we head to Michigan next week. Size up that place for yourself. Put yourself as a contender in that one next week.
Yeah, I think we'll show up there a little bit more speed than we had this week. I really like that track. Everybody likes that track. New build, obviously. I think Ray touched on that. So, I'm not sure how the cars are going to drive. He probably knows since he helps develop it and stuff. But the way it sounds, it's going to be a little bit different. We'll see. But I think everybody's looking forward to it, especially this is my first race in this league. So after having a race like tonight and how fun it was, I'm really looking forward to Phoenix, where it's a little bit easier to get around for everybody, and the racing should be that much better.
Yeah, it absolutely should be, but that's 1 week from now, and you get to celebrate a little bit. A top 3 finish, your first start of the season. Congratulations again on that. We'll give you a chance for sponsor shout-outs. Who helps you get that 0-1 to the track?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate Adam Benefield. He sponsored my entry into this season. I'd like to thank Brian for letting me run. You guys for broadcasting. Y'all can check One Up Motorsports. That's our team. We're running the Peak Series. You can check us out on Twitter and Facebook at One Up Motorsports. And follow us and check out all the cool updates. And appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks again, and congratulations on the 3rd place finish. We'll see you next week in Michigan.
See you.
Well, there you have it. 3rd place finisher Tyler Hudson getting it done in his first race. Talking about this place not being, I guess, Evan, one of his better tracks, but hey, when you get a 3rd place finish at one of your not so better tracks, a pretty good start to the season.
Yeah, if you get the wins at the tracks that you're not comfortable at, you have to feel pretty good that when you go to a place that you feel confident at, you're going to be able to get the job done. But like we saw tonight in this finish, this race probably should have belonged to Ryan Luza. It was his all night long, but it just didn't end up in his favor. And sometimes no amount of speed and no amount of talent can beat that little bit of luck. And if it's not on your side, like I said, you just got to take what you can get out of this. And Ray Alfala knows exactly what that means, a 2nd place after a 2nd place. And that's going to continue on. And again, he got the job done in Charlotte to kick off the 2nd segment of competition. But I also think at the same time, he got a lot of 2nd place finishes in that 1st segment, and it allowed him to get way out in front in the points. No doubt about that. The win has already got him inside of that chase grid and the championship grid for later on, so he's not going to have to worry about points, although I don't think that would be a factor either. But if he could turn, and he'll look at his stats, he wants to turn the number of 2nd places and turn that into the number of 1st places. If he can switch those 2 categories, then he'll be primed and ready to go. But Matt Busa, an incredible job done tonight. He gets that win, and he continues to have a good 2016 campaign, and I think it was a little bit of a good boost for his segment 2 hopes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to come out and get a win that early. I mean, of course, last segment, I should say, it took all to get his first victory. And not that he didn't challenge, because he was up there a couple of those 2nd or 3rd place finishes to when Ray was knocking off those wins early in that first half of that segment, for Matt. So, to get a win this quickly in this segment, definitely a big boost. And like he said, heading to a track next week, Michigan, that everybody likes as well. Hudson mentioned that as well, too. But, you got to think that Michigan, how wide open that place is and how fast these guys can carry the speed, that's going to be in for a treat as well. I think we're going to see a lot of three-wide action at that place also, just like we did here tonight, but a lot more speed from these guys as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think, getting out of that first segment, now getting into some of these tracks we haven't seen yet, I think that's going to throw a lot of fun the way to the people tuning in and watching it as well. And I want to mention too, Evan, before you kick me off of here, that 14 races, only 2 guys have won more than one race. So we got a lot of winners, a lot of different winners, a lot of one-time winners, and some other guys still looking to crack that victory lane here in segment 2 to get themselves in the chase as well.
And with so many, drivers having opportunities to win, but then you talk about the guys getting multi-time wins being up there in the numbers, 5+ nearly for some of those guys. There are going to be, I think, a sweet spot of positions that are going to have to be handed out, not by the wins when we get down championship time after segment number 2, that are going to come down to the positions that are going to be based on your points accumulated in both segments. And that's something that it's kind of hard to calculate, and really all you can do is just get the best result every single week and hope that the numbers end up in your favor. But that could really be nail-biting once we get some numbers getting down into rounds 12, 13, and then the 14 to end this segment. That'll also be a very exciting part of this championship. But it's going to be an interesting race when we go to Michigan. We have a new build coming to the look a little bit different with that 2016 nose piece coming on, and it's only going to ever evolve the competition that you'll see here on Sunday nights. We got plenty of action coming up for you. If you don't want to wait till then to tune back in with us, we encourage you to tune in. You got tomorrow night, you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, nearly every single day of the week. You can go on our website, find the entire broadcast schedule. That'll be live at simracing.com. And we also encourage you to follow us on Facebook and give us a like at facebook.com/livesimracingtv to stay in the loop. We hope to see you soon, but until next time, that's going to do it here from the Pocono Raceway. And on behalf of everybody on the team at LSRTV, and on behalf of the broadcast crew tonight, for myself, Evan Pasoko, for Andy Kessler, and our producer, Cisco Scaramuza, congratulations to Matt Busa, your winner tonight in the Pocono 200. We will see you next Sunday from Michigan International Speedway. Until then, we bid you a good night.
The authority of LSRTV LLC and iRacing.com motorsports simulations, and may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form, nor the accounts and descriptions of this event disseminated in any way without the express written permission of Live Sim Racing TV. LSRTV would like to thank its loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.